1992. Today, from Vanderbilt Stadium, Dudley Field, it's the Commodores of Vandy hosting their rivals, the Volunteers of Tennessee. Hi, everybody. I'm Doug Bell, and welcome to this much-anticipated matchup between the Volunteers and the Commodores, much more anticipated than in years past, probably because of the climate of controversy surrounding this game leading up to the contest. Now, we're not talking about the climate outside, which is close to freezing. We're talking about the controversy surrounding Jerry DiNardo and Johnny Majors. We all know about Johnny Majors, his resignation a couple of weeks ago. It has been a topsy-turvy scene for the Volunteers, but regardless, they have had a winning season and they hope to top it off today. Bob Kessling has more.
It has been a rocky road for the team from Rocky Top. The Tennessee Volunteers blasted out to a 5-0 start. Philip Fulmer coached the first 3 games while Coach Johnny Majors recovered from heart surgery. The team then stumbled the next 3 weeks. A last-second field goal got them beat against Arkansas. Alabama outslugged Tennessee and left Knoxville with a 17-10 victory. South Carolina sent Tennessee reeling in Columbia and brought to a head Coach Johnny Majors' contract situation. The squabble resulted in a buyout of the last 2 years of Majors' contract as Tennessee's coach.
Since I have not been given the opportunity by the University of Tennessee administration to remain as head football coach past this current season, I am, effective December 31st, 1992, relinquishing all my duties connected with the University of Tennessee.
Since the Majors' announcement about his contract, the team has rebounded. 2 straight wins in impressive fashion. They beat the Memphis State Tigers 26-21. And then last week, Tennessee rolled past Kentucky 34-13. Today against arch rival Vanderbilt, Johnny Majors coaches his last regular season game at Tennessee. The Volunteers trying to send 18 seniors and their head coach out on a winning note and run their present winning streak to 3.
Andridge, go ahead, Whit.
I tell you, you know, the little scuffle before the game last year, the 45-0 score. You know, there's no telling what's going to happen in this one, Conrad.
We're in for an exciting one, I think.
We saw Bill King on the sideline with the breath coming out of his mouth. It is cold, 34 degrees. You saw the temperature. Winds out of north, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Probably not a factor. The Volunteers won the toss. They will receive. Here comes Vandy kicking off. Robbie Churro will do that. Honor. Number 90 boots it deep. Number 1 for Tennessee is Ronald Davis. He breaks to the outside, finds some open room, and brings it up around the 31-yard line. And that's where the Volunteers will start their first drive of the game. As you see the starting lineup for Tennessee, Heath Schuler at quarterback again, Charlie Garner, the horse, with Mose Phillips, the big fullback blocking, Faulkner, the possession receiver, on down the line. There's the big horses up front. Guard to guard in the center, true freshman Bubba Miller, Jason Lehman, Jeff Smith. That's good news for the future for Tennessee. Stow and Gordon will be tested on the outside. As you look at Schuler, the sophomore quarterback out of Bryson City, North Carolina. Those are his numbers, and here he goes from the 30. 1st and 10, coming out passing and connected. Quickly brought down, but after a gain of about 8 yards, and that completion to Kendrick Jones.
I think we're going to have to, you know, Tennessee's coming out throwing the ball early. That's something that surprises me a little bit. I thought they'd try to establish their run game. They've got such a size advantage up front on Vanderbilt's defensive front. I thought maybe they'd come out and try to establish the run with Garner, but they're coming out throwing it.
Last week, they gained over 350 yards on 51 carries against Kentucky. And they're back to the running game in the option play. Schuler, he's a master at that. Pitches back to Garner, who breaks free for a first down and more. He's knocked out of bounds around the 38-yard line.
That was just a well-executed play back there. You got to understand when Tennessee came out going, what they did, they looked at a count factor, and Vanderbilt just had too many people inside. This is just a down-the-line option with a fullback fake, fullback leading, taking on the outside guy. Schuler comes to the defensive end and makes him commit to him, pitches it out, and then it's just natural running. That's something you can't teach. Of course, the ball could be on the other side. What do you think about that, Whit?
Ball on the 42. 2 plays, and so far, nothing but positive yardage for the Volunteers. Up front goes Charlie Garner again. And again, about a gain of 5 yards. Here's a look at the Commodore defense. Tony Cates, Rogers, and DeWitt make up the front three. Not bad. The linebackers are a good bunch with Quarles, Brown, Chalmers, and Francis. The defense is much improved, and looking at the backfield, Brothers is the key. They say he's their best player in the defensive backfield, and he returns all of their punts as well. A young Tennessee fan liking what he sees so far. Ball on 37, 2nd down and 5. It's the play action fake, looking for his possession man. Craig Faulkner, and he overthrows it.
They're just trying to establish something on 1st down, trying to get the positive yardage. And you know, now comes a critical time for Vanderbilt, I think. Tennessee does a great job on 3rd down conversions. I believe they're around 43% lead the SEC. And I figured one of my keys to the game also was Vanderbilt had to play good 3rd down defense.
What you saw there is something that we've gone through before. That Heath Schuler's a little pumped up. That ball was about 5 feet over his head.
Right. It's almost like it has a little helium in it right now.
3rd down and 5.
They're blitzing. Here it comes.
The lineman in that pass blocking mode. Schuler in and out of the hands of Corey Fleming. It'll be 4th down in the Volunteers. We'll try for a field goal perhaps.
I think that's one of the things Coach DiNardo talked about a little earlier. You know, he said he was going to have to take a few chances. And, you know, when your defensive secondary, which is a fairly good defensive secondary, but when you're matching up man-to-man with Tennessee receivers, that's pretty scary.
Well, it's not as scary this year as it has been in the past. I mean, a lot of people will come up and play Tennessee man coverage because Carl Pickens is not their 3rd leading receiver anymore.
Right.
I mean, Alvin Harper and Morgan and Pickens are gone. And there's only maybe 1 or 2 guys that can actually run by you. So they would be more susceptible to playing man coverage and blitzing and seeing if you can block it.
Ball's on the 37, so Tennessee takes a timeout as the clock ran down close to the expiration mark.
I think they went ahead and took the penalty.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, I think they just
did.
to back them up.
It was out of Becksport's range, I guess. It would have been about a 52, 53-yard attempt. So Tom Hutton comes on, averaging close to 42 yards a punt. And he'll boot it away for the Volunteers. 13:23 on the clock.
Vanderbilt showing a 10-man front. I don't know if they're going to try to come after it or they got a couple backing out.
There's the southpaw punter letting it loose, and Brothers calls for the fair catch on the 15-yard line. And that's where Vanderbilt will take over. The Commodores, led by Marcus Wilson, the talented senior, much better runner than a passer, but he'll pass on occasion. Tony Jackson, the talented tailback. Royce Love, his big blocking back, and Clarence Civilian, the top receiver as far as yards per catch in the Southeastern Conference. There's the line, and you heard our man on the sidelines, Bill King, talk about the center, Richard Saines, and says he's the best in the Southeastern Conference. We'll watch him throughout the game. There's a good look at Marcus Wilson playing his final game for the Commodores. Special moment for him, and he would like to go out as a winner. Hasn't enjoyed the experience of beating the Big Orange in his career.
You know, anytime you run an option attack like Vanderbilt does, your quarterback has to be the trigger guy. I mean, you know, he has to be the guy that gets you going. He has to make good decisions, and he has to have a good game offensively if you expect to win.
The eye-bone attack works well when they're not fumbling and bumbling. They can churn up yardage and they can eat up the clock, and that's a concern of Johnny Majors because he said really they shorten the game when they're effective.
One thing I think Marcus Wilson wants to have under his belt when he leaves here is the same feeling that Whit Taylor has right now. I mean, you know, I was with him earlier today. We were out having a little bite, and that people were coming up, and they remember you. They remember you when you do something, especially when you beat Tennessee, and that's something that'll go on your record for life.
Right, it's that last one. You know, the last one you play at home. That's why they put it on the schedule like that,
That's
because
right.
it's the biggest one.
1st and 10 from the 15. There's the eye-bone look, and Wilson with the option play to Tony Jackson. Jackson wrestled down quickly by a host of Tennessee defenders, led by Jason Parker, number 7.
Well, Jason's really coming off of a big game last week against Kentucky. I think he was named Defensive Player of the Week, and it looks like Tennessee's defensive format is to string the option out and try to catch them before they can turn the corner on the sideline.
You know, with the little option experience I've had, if a team decides to play you that way, and if you've run it, you might help me out. Your fullback needs to be big.
He's got to be big.
And if they're going to give you that dive and want you to string everything out, the fullback needs to be big in this offense today.
He's got to be big and be willing to take a punishment.
Well, it goes to the tailback again, and again, Jackson brought down immediately. He gained 2 yards on the first carry. I dare say he gained no yardage that time. Up front, the big bruiser for Tennessee was Jeff Tullis.
Well, Jeff has really played through some tough times this year. He's one of the mainstays of that defensive front four, and for about 4 weeks there, they were much maligned. They were, especially starting with the Alabama game, there were a lot of finger pointing at the front four, and they've come on in the last 3 weeks and have really played superb down-the-line football.
Well, there's a good look at the front four of Tennessee. It's 3rd down and 7. Marcus Wilson in a passing situation. They try to avoid these situations, and he gets sacked by that front four. Bonham in there, along with 72, James Wilson. Good pressure on Wilson. Didn't have any time to do anything.
So it's you know, one of the things I pointed to is that Vanderbilt needs to stay out of sure pass situations. They can't afford to get in 3rd and long, 2nd long situations. They're not, matter of fact, they're last in the SEC in passing, throwing only 40% on the year. The thing you've got to do is you've got to be successful and pass on 1st down if you're going to try to do that, but stay out of 3rd and long where the defense just lines up and comes after you.
And they've got a guy in James Wilson who knows the camera's going to be on him because he's taking a perennial all-star's place in Todd Kelly. So the camera will be on him, and he'll be fired up to play.
David Lawrence punts away, and Sean Summers lets it bounce. Takes a Vandy bounce. I think somebody kicked it even farther down the field. It'll be down to around the 37-yard line, maybe the 38, and that's where the Volunteers will take over for the 2nd time. 10:49 to play, 1st quarter. There's a good look at Heath Schuler. That was a 50-yard punt. And off the top of the show, we talked about Lawrence. He was a key. He could keep Vanderbilt out of their own territory, and that time he did with a nice punt.
Yeah, he's going to have to be big. You know, when you run the I-bone and you're not successful on 3 straight downs and you have to punch, you want to make sure Tennessee has a long way to go.
Schuler with a handoff right up the middle. That's Mose Phillips.
Mose Phillips at fullback now gives the Tennessee offense a little bit different look. They're not going to isolate as much and turn out block and have Mose blocking on a linebacker, but they can do a lot more different things in the passing game because Mose is an excellent receiver. And it just gives them a little more diversification on offense.
We saw Johnny Majors. Said he saw his first college game as a youngster back in 1947 right here at Dudley Field. Brings back memories. We'd like to end it on a winning note today. Heath Schuler keeping it himself, going for positive yardage.
That was the same play they ran a little bit earlier when Heath pitched it out and got the good gain. I think the one thing you're going to see is Vanderbilt needs to make sure that Heath Schuler is not the one that beats you. Here's a look at it there. You got to contain him, take the pitch man, and make Heath Schuler run it instead of Charlie Garner.
That's true.
There's a look at 99 Tony Cates, who made that last stop. It's 3rd down and a long 4. Schuler back to pass. Will we find somebody open? No. Good defensive coverage by Vanderbilt. Several people there, led by Robert Davis, the junior from Nashville.
That was good defensive position, but that one would have to go under drop.
That's a drop.
That was right between the numbers, and that was just a drop football.
Robert did a good job coming back underneath. I don't think he got a finger on it. That's like he's a... And here's a look at it right here. We'll see if
just a little roll-out pass, and they're running a flood pattern. And Heath elects to go to the second guy in the level of 1, 2, 3, and it's right in the middle.
Here's a great throw. Great throw and a drop.
Tom Hutton, 2nd punt of the afternoon. A high punt, kind of a knuckleball. And Brothers calls for a fair catch again, this time at the 17-yard line. So again, the Commodores, with poor field position, will try to work themselves out of a hole. 39-yard boot. 9:30 to play 1st quarter. There's a look at Marcus Wilson, the senior from Louisville, Kentucky, 6'1", 195 pounds.
Yeah, Vanderbilt needs to try to get the wishbone, the fullback, established a little bit better. You know, starting on the 17, 18-yard line, that's not the ideal place to start every drive you get. And you know, Vanderbilt's had both of them start right there.
11 players for Tennessee, very close to the line of scrimmage. And boy, there's some popping going on, and immediately Royce Love is brought to the turf. As we look at the Big Orange defense, James Wilson is injured, not in the lineup today. Jeff Tullis, Surlis, and Shane Bonham is a key, as we spoke of off the top of the show. There you see Sanders, Ingram, and Talley, a talented linebacker crew. And in the backfield, J.J. McCleskey is the senior. Tracy Smith, Parker, and Session, not bad in their own right.
Here's a look at that. Tennessee wants to make sure that Marcus Wilson doesn't beat them on the outside.
I think they've established that that's not going to happen.
No.
They've
James
assigned
Wilson.
the defensive end to the quarterback.
James Wilson was causing havoc inside, and again, he is in there along with Bonham and Jeff Tullis. You see 38. Great line surge from the Tennessee defensive front, and they're really fouling things up for the Commodores' eyebone at the moment. It's going to be 3rd down and 4 from the 23. Willie Richards is number 94 on the turf. Senior from Griffin, Georgia. 6'3", 254 pounds, and he's banged up a day like today. A cold afternoon. He seemed to get banged up a little more so than on a warm afternoon.
Well, that's true. But I'll tell you one thing about this Tennessee defense that they've had to suffer through for, not really suffer, but just come of age so fast. They're younger players that have been backups to some superlative decent defensive players, and they've only had a chance to play. Now some of them are seniors and juniors, and you know, they're just having to play right now.
Let's take a look and watch number 94 right here. You're going to see he just gets everything bent up underneath, and it looks like a knee or an ankle, and boy, you hate to see that, especially when you're playing, you know, the last game of the season against your big rival. That's a shame anybody has to get hurt in a game like this.
Well, hopefully it's not serious. He'll be back in the ball game. 3rd down and 4 from the 23. 8.5 minutes to play, first quarter. Marcus Wilson at the line. That's the draw play that he runs so well, and he falls forward and is close to the first down. We'll see where they mark it.
So you've got a few more things you can do. 3rd and 4. This is just a straight quarterback draw. Marcus simulates a 5 or 3-step drop. And actually, I thought he had a little bit of room if he'd have gone ahead and break it outside, but he's thinking get first down, and he tried to get there and was a yard short.
Just short, so they'll punt it away again. David Lawrence, who did 150 yards his first try. There you see number 89 getting limber on this cold afternoon. They'll try to get him out of a hole one more time. Coach DiNardo told me on Wednesday that he was concerned that Tennessee had played Kentucky last week because they run an I-bone. And he said when you're defensing the I-bone, it helps to have a lot of repetition. And another boot by Lawrence, and he gets a good bounce. Don't touch it, guys. Let it roll down, and there they go, down within the 5-4, and it's still going. The 2-yard line. The Commodores put the Volunteers in a big hole.
Now, you know, what David Lawrence has done is he's completely switched in. You know, Tennessee had the chance the first couple of series to have some pretty decent, really good field position.
That's true.
Now he's put them back in a hole, and here's a look at the punt again. He didn't get a lot of height on this. He just really line drives it and kicked it over his head.
He sure did, and a great punt along with a rookie mistake. One thing you can always do as a punt returner is come up to a ball. You should never get too shallow to where they can kick it over your head. So, I mean, that was just a freshman mistake, and they'll have to try to overcome that. Tennessee's got to get the ball out of their end now.
And Mose Phillips right up the pipe for 2, possibly 3 yards. That was a 70-yard boot by David Lawrence, so he went 50 the first time, 70 his second try.
And you get the friendly artificial turf roll, too.
Yeah, that always helps.
Phillips, a gain of 3 yards, no, 4 yards, so it's 2nd down and 6. The crowd is noisy in that end zone. That's the closed end zone here at Vanderbilt Stadium. Here's a handoff for Garner. He's hammered hard by Brad Brown. Brown is the leading tackler in the Vandy club. There he is, number 37, the junior from Russellville, Kentucky.
Here's a look at Brad Brown just just steps up and fills the gap from the linebacker spot. Great job.
One thing you notice there on the Tennessee side, Brad Brown made a great play, but there's Mose Phillips making that lead block is just not the same. He's not the type of guy that's going to do that consistently for you. And they're missing Mario Brunson if they've got to grind it out and just power block.
Here comes a big third down play for Vanderbilt's defense.
3rd down and 5. There's the play action fake. Shula zeroing in and complete for a 1st down. David Horn, the tight end. That's his 7th catch of the season. Big target at 6'4", 234 pounds. He's a freshman from Jonesboro, Georgia. 13-yard completion. The Volunteers in business at the 22-yard line.
Well, this is just a great little boot, fake boot, and coming out to the rolling left with Heath Schuler, and David Horn had no option but to catch this ball or it'd be buried in his chest. I think that was just one of the deals that happened right there, and that was a good play.
Garner breaks a tackle. Falls forward for another 1st down. Garner wiggled his way out of a tackle. He was almost stopped for a 2-3-yard gain, but then busted free for an 11-yard gain and a 1st down.
I tell you, one of the things that impresses me, Collins, about the way Charlie Garner runs, he has great body lean and always seems to fall forward.
He doesn't. When he gets the ball that deep, it gives his cutting ability a chance to be effective. And the deeper you can get a great back to football, the more effective he's going to be, because they all got that good peripheral vision. It's a matter of getting to the hole with your quickness.
He runs a lot bigger than 185 pounds.
Sure does.
And Garner's thrown for a loss. That's 52, John DeWitt on the stop. Junior from Fort Smith, Arkansas.
That's just the opposite of what you said. You can see right here how deep he gets hit in the backfield here as opposed to being able to make that cut that you just talked about a minute ago.
That's right. That was a good defensive play, though. Ground level angel.
You see DeWitt come off the lead block and stay square on Charlie Garner. There's John DeWitt, 6'4", 260.
Under 5 minutes to play, 2nd down and 13. Schuler again with some nice fakes in there. Going to the sideline, incomplete. Intended for Ronald Davis. Schuler does a nice job faking in there, and it really holds up the linebackers and the front 4 for a while. Front 3, I guess I should say.
That's right. He did a good job with the fake.
Just a little delayed bootleg, the same play they ran to the left side of the field, and they take the option to go for the deep out pattern. Ball was just a little bit overthrown, and well, the great ones make that one, but that's a tough one. Of course, I'm always partial to the quarterback. Now, you gotta understand.
I know how you feel.
3rd down, 13 to go. The ball nestled on the 30-yard line. Schuler back to pass. And he's sacked for a loss. Gary Rogers, the undersized nose guard, with a big sack. 6'3", 212 pounds, and he plays a tough nose guard spot.
Gary Rogers is really amazing. When you talk about a guy that weighs 212 pounds playing right in the middle of those 290-pound players, he just relies solely on quickness. And I mean, he's not going to outmuscle those guys. He did a good job on that play. Another big 3rd down play by.
29 quarterback sacks for the Volunteers this season. That's the most they've had since 1984. And Hutton again with a punt, and he gets the same bounce.
Senior cannot make that mistake. That's a freshman.
That's the same thing. You know, you can't allow, even if it bounces once, you've got to come up and take that 20-yard roll out.
That was a 56-yard boot. And while we have a chance, we'd like to remind you the announcers for this game have been contracted for and approved by the University of Tennessee and Vanderbilt University. Any use, rebroadcast, or other transmission of this game without the written consent of the University of Tennessee, Vanderbilt University, and Host Communications is prohibited. Marcus Wilson clapping his hands as he's breaking the huddle and also clapping to keep those hands warm, I think. Commodores have not been able to move the ball effectively as of yet. Tony Jackson couldn't grab that pass. Let's check in with Bill King. Bill?
Back in the game, he had a problem with the left knee. They worked on it briefly, then he ran it off on the sideline. Jeff Smith also left the game, the offensive guard for Tennessee. He was walking fine on the sideline. Both looked to be healthy. Back up to the booth.
Okay, Bill. 3:39 to go, first quarter.
Looks like a little snow in his hair.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm glad we're up here. Second down and 10. And right up the pipe goes the fullback, Royce Love.
That's a good job. Again, I think they've got to establish their fullback. Tennessee wants to, and you go into a game with a defensive philosophy of how you're going to defend the eye bone or the wishbone or any type of option attack. And it looks like Tennessee wants to string it out. Vanderbilt, to me, has to be patient with their fullback and accept the 4 and the 3 and the 4 yards, which is what they do get anyway, and they use the clock while they do that.
Third down and 5. Wilson back to pass. Finds a receiver on the sideline, and he's brought down short of the first down. That was number 24, Derek Payne from Memphis. He caught the pass, but then was wrestled down immediately short of the first down. So here comes the man of the hour, David Lawrence. His first punt went 50 yards. His second punt went 70, which was a career high.
Tennessee did a great job that time containing. The catch was made with some open room to run. They closed on the ball well and did not allow Derek Payne to get the first down.
I think Sean Summers has gotten an earful on the sidelines. He's a little bit deeper this time.
I saw the last coach following him about halfway out, telling him to catch the ball, catch the ball.
That's right. Get back and catch the ball. Do not let the ball fall in front of you.
It's another bomb.
This time Summers fields it at the 24, and he's hammered hard to the turf. J.J. Surlis, number 48, led the charge. So with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, we have no score. Both offensive have been stymied. Mr. Lawrence continues to kick the Commodores.
This would be a good angle right here. You'll be able to see the lanes that the Vanderbilt cover team takes, and they did a real good job this time staying in their lanes and covering the football. You see there's really no room for him to run.
Charlie Garner wiggles his way out of trouble and gets another first down. Gives him 11 yards.
You know, Whit, going back to look at that punt angle, how many fans want to do that now?
No.
I don't think. Here's just a deep handoff, which we've talked about before. You get the ball deep to a Charlie Garner, he can use his quickness, and he just makes little cuts and runs away from the flow, and he can make a lot of things happen when you give him a little space.
He's got really good eyes. He can see the open area.
You know, the one thing about giving the ball deep to a great running back or a guy that has some quickness, an offensive lineman just has to sustain his block and take the defensive man anywhere he wants to go. I mean, if you just take him wherever his momentum takes him, you don't have to go against him in the brute force. You just take him wherever he wants and the back cuts off of you. It makes it such a much more enjoyable way to block instead of trying to root hog somebody out of a stationary position.
First down for the Volunteers from the 38. Garner already has 46 yards on 6 carries. Up the middle of the fullback. Tony Cates in on the tackle. Mose Phillips right up the pipe, hit immediately, falls forward.
Straight dive. You see Cates in on the tackle. Cates is the transfer from Air Force Academy. He wanted to be a pilot. And
him and Shane Bonham had a little interaction this week, didn't he?
Second down and 7 from the 41. 1 minute to play. You see it's counting down to 0 in the first quarter. And there's Garner. Again, a gain of maybe 3 yards. Robbie Young came up to help Rico Francis bring him down.
It's a good job by Rico. Rico's playing outside linebacker this year after the first couple of years at Vanderbilt playing strong safety. You can see he just fights off the block right there really well. Kept his feet and kept the offensive fullback from getting in on his knees.
Third down and 5.
Big play. Big play for the Tennessee offense.
Crowd getting excited in anticipation as Schuler goes back to pass. Finds an open receiver.
Oh.
It's going to be a touchdown. Volunteers in business. Craig Faulkner wide open. Split the seam for 6.
My.
Conrad, you're going to look in the paper tomorrow and see that Craig Faulkner has a touchdown catch. But let me tell you something. That throw was magnificent.
Was that one? That ball was thrown on a rope, and it was thrown over the free safety. Watch this ball. The free safety takes a chance and misses it, and he doesn't break stride. Faulkner doesn't break stride, hits him right in the numbers. Folks, that's a big leg throw right there.
Jeff Brothers, all he did was underestimate Schuler's arm.
That's right.
He broke on that ball thinking that he was going to break and pick that one off. He just couldn't catch up to it.
Which you used to throw him just like that.
Now, I don't believe I ever threw one that fast.
Well, Schuler's got a great arm. He does have a great arm.
John Becksport boots it off the scoreboard. He's 33 out of 33 in the extra point department. 10 seconds to play first quarter. Volunteers on top 7-0 thanks to that 57-yard touchdown pass from Heath Schuler to a wide open Craig Faulkner. Known more for his running, Schuler has shown at times, especially in that play, a great throwing arm.
Well, I've had the opportunity to work with him for about 5 months before he actually came into the fold as a starter. And everything mechanical that you can think about, he is it. And he's a big kid, and he has a very, very strong arm. What he's done for this Tennessee offense is open up the field for him. Last year, if the ball was on the hash mark, you didn't have to worry about the Tennessee offense throwing to the wide side of the field. They didn't have the quarterback arm strength. Now, defensive teams have to play the whole field. They can't play inside of the widest wide receiver, and it makes a lot of difference because linebackers now have to walk out into coverage. They can't stay in there and stop the run.
I tell you, Jeff Brothers is still sitting on the sideline over there saying, "Coach, I thought I had it.
That's right.
I broke on it great. Thought I had it. I just couldn't catch up to it." Really a good throw.
Yeah, that's a receiver's dream when you have a wide open seam and then a pass comes to you when you don't even have to break stride. 57 yards. Joey Chapman will kick off for the Volunteers. That was a 4-play drive with 72 yards. It took less than 2 minutes. And the Commodores will try and answer. Tony Jackson. It's brought down quickly at around the 27-yard line. That's where the Commodores will try again. Volunteers certainly woke everyone up here at this stadium.
Just a 5-step drop, a good read for the seam, and this was gunned. This ball was gunned, and Brothers
He
barely.
didn't miss it much,
He
did
didn't miss it by much, but it was just a bang-bang play.
I think another thing you saw in there, in my opinion, Heath Schuler has a whole lot of time sitting back there throwing it.
4 plays, 72 yards, took off 151. That's a quick drive by eyebone standards, but I'm sure the Tennessee offense will take it.
Last play of the first quarter. That wasn't Jackson, was it? That was Cliff Dees. Let's check in with Bill King as the first quarter ends. 7-0 Volunteers. Bill, what's going on?
Okay, Jeff.
Scooter's really been an active part of Big Orange history and Tennessee fans.
2nd down and 5. Dees gained 5 in the last carry of the first quarter. Here's the option. No option. Marcus decided to keep it.
Tennessee did a really good job of stringing it out that time. They kept, they kept wanting Marcus. Let's see if we can look at it right here. You're going to see Marcus keeps wanting to get to the corner, and they keep stringing it out. Finally, someone jumps the pitch man at the top, and he has no play.
Whenever you can put your hands on the quarterback and there's a defensive man outside of him, you've outmanned him.
That's right.
And that's exactly what happened there, and the quarterback did a great job of not pitching it because that could have resulted in a fumble.
3rd down and 5. Commodores looking for a first down. They've yet to get one today. And there's the fumble that we talked about, recovered quickly by Dees.
Just as he made a good decision last play not to pitch it, he should have made the same decision. You didn't get hurt by this one, but things like that eventually will get you beat. Anytime you're a quarterback and somebody has you wrapped up, you're better off just to eat it. Go ahead and get your punter who's averaging close to 60 yards a punt. Let him come out and punt the ball away.
James Wilson had him wrapped up. So the Commodores again looking for their first down of the football game. They were shut out in the first quarter. And so far in the second. Here comes their another secret weapon. And a fair catch by Summers at the 27-yard line. Condridge Holloway, we had to go back to our archives and blow the dust off this stuff. This is film. That's how long ago you played. But look at number 7. Can you still run like that, Condridge?
Don't have to. You guys are friendly up here. I think the next guy that hits me, though, I'm going to sue him. No more free sacks for this body.
Condridge could run. He could pass. Look at that. Nifty play, and I thought it was interesting. Before the game, you told us you played against Jerry DiNardo in a freshman football game.
Sure did. The University of Tennessee freshman played a game in Knoxville on the off week. Back in the 70s, freshmen couldn't play varsity football, so we had a freshman team. And Jerry DiNardo was the starting offensive guard for the Notre Dame freshmen, along with my buddy Tommy Clements, who was the quarterback. And once I saw him, he reminded me of that. But I think that's where his hatred of orange started, because we gave him a pretty good whipping that day, too.
And you see some of the Tennessee players, how they're staying warm on this afternoon. DiNardo was an offensive lineman for the Irish. They won a national championship. Went on to Colorado, where he developed the eye bone, won a national title with the Buffaloes, and now he's trying to build this Vanderbilt program. There you see scores from other games.
Florida State all over Florida.
38-17. Schuler, plenty of time. And a flag on the play. First penalty of the ball game. We've had a clean first quarter. We'll check the flag.
Ineligible downfield.
Schuler had all day to throw, just couldn't find anyone open.
That's one of the problems that offensive linemen have with a running quarterback. When they've made their blocking time count 1,001, 1,002, maybe up to 3, and nothing's happened, they have a tendency to go downfield. Okay, well, they have a tendency to go downfield and block because they're so used to their quarterback breaking out of the pocket and trying to make something happen.
Yeah, once he breaks, you take it for granted that he's running.
That's
so
right.
You're going to go down there and get him a block so he doesn't get hit downfield.
That was a 5-yard penalty, so it'll be 1st and 15. The ball's on the 22. In motion is the tight end. Schuler taking his time. There's the handoff to Garner. Brought down around the ankles. There you see number 99, the big fella Tony Cates. 6'3", 235 pounds. He's a senior.
Here's a look at Tony again. No wonder he made the play. He didn't get blocked.
Well, that was an audible, and obviously somebody missed it because he did come in scot-free, and it's not hard to put the hat on somebody.
I was going to say I could make that play, but I'm not going to go that far.
12:50 and counting. I'm glad you didn't say that. Peter Schuler back to pass, and there he is, looking like Fran Tarkenton and scrambling out of it for positive yardage, but well short of the first down. He was down before the ball broke free, so it'll be a punting situation for the Volunteers. No, it'll be 3rd down. Got ahead of myself. 3rd and 12.
Yeah, as I said in what I think are some of my keys to the game for Vanderbilt, you got to contain this guy here. You can see him running. You know, if I'm Vanderbilt, I don't like this. I don't like Heath Schuler breaking, contain, and running. You know, he's too good of a runner.
Yeah, you've got to contain Heath because that was just a simple little rollout, which he improvised and brought back to the other side of the field. If you don't contain him, he can be very dangerous.
3rd down, 12 needed for the first down. The screen pass set up to Garner, who fell forward after he caught the ball, and he is short of the first down, and that will bring the punting unit onto the field. Good look at Schuler.
This is a screen play that was set up, and Heath drops back, Schuler drops back and makes the good athletic throw, and they're just Vanderbilt fouled this one up from the beginning because they just they rushed the passer a lot sooner than he expected to be rushed, and then he had to rush the ball and get it to Garner, and it was just a well defense play.
John DeWitt did a good job.
There's Hutton. The ball fielded at the 27 by Brothers. He was picked up by number 34, Armando Fisher.
You know, they always look like they come open a whole lot better up here. You know, we both kind of cringed because it looked like he was one guy away from a lane forming there. And Jeff leads I believe leads the Southeastern Conference in punt returns. So, you know, every time a kick is made to him, you kind of hold your breath. He's not a guy that's going to break one for 60 or 70 yards, but he has good instincts.
Well, I felt that the Tennessee team has to do a better job of covering kicks today because the last 3 games have been very suspect.
Ball on the 33. Vanderbilt still looking for that first down. And Wilson goes forward for 4 yards. James Wilson falls on top of him.
Okay, here's a look at Marcus. Marcus just sees an opening here and gets in it. You know, to me, this is a good play right here for Vanderbilt. You can get 3 to 4 yards. You're not in a 2nd and long and almost a sure passing situation for them. You know, you've got to be pleased with that. Now you've got to come up and get 4 or 5 more yards so you don't put yourself in a sure passing situation.
That was Steve Session for Tennessee, looking like he was pretty cold. Civilian open for the reception. There's a first down. The Southeastern Conference's leading receiver, as far as yards per reception, brought the play in from the sidelines, and it was his number.
You know, most of what you do in the eye bone, if you're going to throw the ball, if we take a look at it here, you can see everything comes off of the option look. It's a play-action pass. Civilian runs down almost like he's going to stalk the corner, stalk block the corner, then runs you out.
We talked in the pregame warm-up about you said you hadn't seen that play before.
Hadn't seen him throw that deep out, you know, that much. They must have put that in this week.
Ball's on the 46. That was a 20-yard catch by Civilian. Tony Jackson finds a huge hole as he ran forward, possibly for another first down. Jason Parker made the stop, but got hit hard. Serious collision.
Here's a look. It's all just a straight sprint draw. It almost gives you a pass look, but your hand to the deepest back. It's a good job of running by Tony Jackson. But I tell you what, Jason Parker doesn't hit like a freshman.
No, Jason doesn't. He's coming off of 2 good weeks of football, and this was a pretty heads-up play right there. Nice form tackle, but that was a great hole, great run.
They gave him 12 yards. So that's a first down. The ball on the 34, and here comes Wilson to his left. There's the option. That was a pretty play, although it's defensed well, but Jackson wiggles his way out of it and gets 6 or 7 more.
Yeah, that's good individual effort by Derek Payne, but also a pretty poor job of tackling by Tennessee.
Not good tackling. You'll take a look at the option. It's set up perfectly right now because the quarterback is being taken, but Tennessee defense is in good position. They've got 2 guys outside of the runner and just do not tackle him.
Royce Love came over with a nice block, which freed up Jackson. 2nd down and 3, the ball on the 27. Vandy fans getting a bit anxious, anticipating something good, they hope. 9 minutes to play. There's Jackson again. Oh, boy. We can hear that pop from up here. Reggie Ingram, the middle linebacker, stuck him good. 41.
You can see Tony Jackson. He's not a very big fella. He goes 5'8", 170, and he goes into the land of the Giants here. And Tony, you better get behind those pads.
That was a stick by Mr. Ingram.
He can't afford to take those all day long.
Not hardly. That'd be a tough row to hoe all day.
Here you see Reggie. He came into the game tied with Ben Talley for most tackles on the Vols defense. They both had 81, but give him 82 with an asterisk. 8:20 to play before halftime. Volunteers on the 25, 3rd and 1. Jackson goes wide. Nice stop. Jason Parker.
I think that young freshman has arrived.
Yes.
He's starting to play at a different level now. He looks a lot different than he did at the beginning of the year, and I guess it's just an option. And what happens is James Wilson forces the pitch right away. He crashes, is what we call an end crashing, making the quarterback pitch. And when you pitch that early, it's a foot race.
Yeah, Tennessee brought the blitz, and Parker came up and filled. Excellent.
47-yard attempt for Robbie Chura. He's 8 for 18 this season. 9 for 19. Nice kick.
He had enough leg on that one to go over 50. It landed in the bleachers behind the end zone.
47-yard boot. His long was a 51-yarder against Navy, but that could have gone about 55 possibly.
That one would have made 51 too, I believe.
So the Commodores on the board with a nice drive. The 20-yard pass reception from Wilson to Clarence Civilian helped the cause, and then the nice run by Jackson. 7:30 before halftime, and among our many features at halftime, Tennessee Athletic Director Doug Dickey has agreed to stop by and chat with us a bit. Of course, if you're a Volunteer fan, there's a lot to talk about.
There's probably a few questions that you could ask him that he could elaborate on during the whole halftime.
Whether he answers them, we don't know, but we'll certainly ask him. Doug Dickey, our guest, longtime AD at Tennessee. Well, the crowd seems to be getting warmed up a bit. They were sitting on their hands for most of that first quarter, but then the nice touchdown pass by Tennessee, and now finally followed up by a good, positive drive by Vanderbilt, has everyone a bit excited.
I think just the getting points for Vanderbilt is going to help them, because they help slow the momentum of Tennessee down. Tennessee, you know, when they got the touchdown, they had a lot of momentum going, and this gave Vanderbilt a little bit more confidence, and even though it was 3 instead of 7, I think it helped them.
Chura pumped up from the field goal, boots it away. And from the 10, with a running start comes Ronald Davis. He's pushed out of bounds. There you see 99. Tony Cates in on special teams. Sellout crowd of 41,000 here at Vanderbilt Stadium. For the regular season finale, there's the scoring drive. 7 plays, 37 yards, ate up 3 minutes and 42 seconds. And Robbie Chura booted a field goal right down the middle. 7 minutes and 28 seconds to play before the half. Ball on the 23. Charlie Garner has been the workhorse so far, and he gets knocked out of bounds.
You know, Charlie doesn't look like he's getting a whole lot of yards, but you look up and he's gained 4, he's gained 5. You know, he doesn't look like he's getting a whole lot, but he's, you know, I'd love being in those 2nd and 4s and 2nd and 3s and 2nd and 5s. They make running plays and calling plays as a coordinator a whole lot easier, too.
Well, Garner and Mose Phillips have done the bulk of the running for Tennessee, and there he is again. Move to the outside and a first down. Tennessee, Charlie Garner's been the man of the hour.
Folks, that's something you can't teach right there. That cutback and that vision is something that the great ones have. Here's Heath Schuler getting the ball deep in the backfield, and what I mean by cutback is, watch this. Zip, that's almost a 90-degree angle cut right there. And when you can cut back like that, you know, against the grain, it's just open field running for you. Not many people can do that.
I don't think Rico Francis has seen anybody put that one on him all year either.
1st and 10 from the 35. The wind starting to pick up. And Mose Phillips goes forward.
Mose Phillips on the carry.
You know, Charlie Garner's having a great start, but credit the offensive line. Those guys up front, Bubba Miller, Jason Lehman, Jeff Smith, have opened some holes, and they're all freshmen.
Well, this is just the first part of the option, which is the dive play and a little trap inside. And it wasn't a greatly successful play, but it was 2 yards, which is a positive play. And now it's 2nd and 8, and that's not a bad situation to be in.
2nd and 7. There you see the time. There's the option. And that time, Vandy snuffed it out. Aaron Smith came up for the stop.
That was a really great job by Aaron right there. I tell you, it's you know, Tennessee. At first, it looked like they were starting to run a reverse out of it, but it was just a guy coming in motion, and you can watch Aaron. He's well in the backfield right here when he makes the play. There had to be some kind of missed block on that, because there were 2 guys free on that.
I'm not so sure that wasn't supposed to be a halfback pass. But we'll never know.
It's hard to run that one when somebody's on you, too.
If not, it wasn't designed properly, but it didn't work. So Tennessee will have to line up and try it again.
Heath Schuler back to pass. Plenty of time. Finds an open man. And it's a first down, Volunteers, and that's his favorite receiver, at least today, Craig Faulkner.
They do that so well, convert on 3rd down. You know, you convert 46% of the time on 3rd down. You know,
a little drop back to Faulkner, and all he does is find a seam in the 2 deep zone, sits down, and Schuler hits him, and they convert the third down conversion.
Big third down, 3rd and 16, and they convert a first down.
Volunteers lead the Southeastern Conference in third down conversions, as you said, with 43%. Closing in on the 5-minute mark.
Checkoff coming here.
Sulu with the audible, and it goes to Charles Garner, and again, Vandy's right there to trip him up, and leading the charge was Rico Francis. Young man out of Kentucky. You know, looking over the Vandy roster, you would think this is Tennessee boys against Tennessee boys, but only 9 players hail from Tennessee on Vandy, 15 from Ohio, 12 from Texas, and a bunch from all over. Hey, there's David Keith, a big-time Tennessee fan and actor, fine actor, who I guess goes to almost all the Tennessee games, right, Condor?
He's at almost every one of them. I can remember when I was playing, he was the...
there's the deep pass.
Little overthrown.
Intended for Fleming.
David Keith was a ball boy back in '71. His Tennessee loyalty goes back a long ways. This was just an overthrown ball, and I think if Schuler had to do again, he would throw it more inside and give his receiver a lot better chance. Little drop back, and when a right-handed passer throws the ball towards the sideline, it's going to drift to the right, so you have to throw it a little more inside. If he throws that ball inside with Corey Fleming's jumping ability, you've got a chance. But when it drifts over his head, it's no chance at all.
Comes a no-back set.
They've done that from time to time. 3rd and 10, another third down possibility for the Volunteers. They do it better than anyone else. So in the middle,
Blitz.
Fleming breaks free, but comes up short of the first down. Brad Brown had him by the shoelace.
You know, Florida ran the same set last couple of games against them and burnt Vanderbilt for a touchdown when they were inside the 20 and went no backs, and what that does is it puts a linebacker on one of your better receivers, and that causes a mismatch. And you look for that mismatch, and hopefully you can break away one-on-one and get the first down.
And also when you go no backs, it doesn't allow you to disguise a blitz. When there's no backs in the backfield, whoever's covering a man has to go out there and get on him. And
gotta show it.
You have to show it.
Tom Hutton gives it a rip. And there's Brothers calling for another fair catch down and around the 12-yard line. And again, the Commodores in a hole. They've had awful field position.
Yeah, I don't think Vanderbilt started the drive, you know, on the positive side of the 20.
It is the Music City, and they've played Rocky Top at least a couple of times following that touchdown.
Well, lots changed in Nashville and on this campus since I was here in '82. I tell you, they've done a good job with the facilities and upgrading facilities to meet the standards of everybody else in the SEC, and that's a positive move.
Tennessee with a 7-3 lead, 3:46 to play before halftime. There you see the ball in the 12. Marcus Wilson. Nowhere to go. Boy, he got hit hard. Wow, that was crunch time. Kevin Mays came in to deliver the knockout blow.
Well, you just really don't have time to make those stop, rethink again decisions when you run the I-bone or any type of option. It has to be a decision, and bam, you got to live with it. And the hesitation there cost Marcus on that play.
Right now, the Tennessee defensive linemen are really being patient and doing their job and not trying to do somebody else's. They're taking their gaps. The linebackers are filling outside, and nobody's trying to do anything other than what they're expected to do, and that's why they're defensing this I-bone pretty well right now.
There's a hold-up of some sort as the official went over to talk to Jerry DiNardo. Now they're talking it over. The Three Musketeers right there around the football. Here we go. All's quiet, not only in the booth, but at the stadium in anticipation of what was going on.
I was trying to get some of those signals there from Coach Johnny Chavis that was down there giving the signals for the defense. 2nd
and 11. Wilson lost a yard on that last play. Now the crowd gets into it. And a draw play. Jackson goes nowhere, possibly back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Tennessee's defense, you know, if I'm Tennessee's defense and I see that sprint draw, you know, if I see this sprint draw, you can see it here. I know Vanderbilt's not going to pass from down here. You can see the tackle right here. You know, Once he got the big arm on him, he was stopped.
Ben Talley on the stop. Volunteers call a timeout. There you see Talley. He's only a sophomore, and if you look down the Volunteers roster, a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores, a lot of kids coming back next year, which seems a very big positive if you're a Volunteer fan.
Well, this is a very, very young team, and not so much in sophomores and freshmen and juniors, but a lot of the seniors and juniors that are playing now don't have playing time. They've been playing behind that great defense that they had the last 2 years, and a lot of those guys, you know, the Dale Carters and the Floyd Mileys, all those guys are gone now, but they played for 2 years in a row while these young kids watched, and they didn't get enough playing time, and now all of a sudden they're put to the forefront, and they're having to play, and they've gelled with the controversy that this team has had. I think they've gelled pretty well this year.
Tennessee doing a good job of clock management here. They've got Vanderbilt to gain no yardage, lost a yard. They're trying to get Vanderbilt to have to punt where they can have one more shot to score before they go in at halftime. That's a good use of the clock.
Well, Smokey delivered a nice punch there to the Commodore right in the nose. But the real Commodores would like to deliver a punch of their own. It's 3rd down and 11, under 3 minutes to go. I wouldn't think anything fancy at this stage of the game. Uh-oh, here he goes to pass. We'll see what happens. Up for grabs. Civilian's open, and he catches it. It's a foot race. Will he make it? Clarence Civilian gets tipped up, and he will come close. Oh, there's a great move, and he scores. Clarence Civilian. What a play. Out of nowhere. Everyone expected a running play, but it didn't happen.
You know, that call right there really shocks me. And I guess, you know, Coach Donardo thinks he has to take some chances. He took a big one right there, throwing the ball deep inside your own 15-yard line. Here's a straight drop back by Marcus Wilson. I don't know what they had seen upstairs or what, you know, why Tennessee would be even that close on the 3rd and 11.
Well, all I can say is that Marcus Wilson did a great job of putting air on the football. He gave his receiver a chance, and he got it up in the air, and the rest is touchdown, Vanderbilt.
Chura connects in the extra point. It's 10-7, and guys, that's the longest pass play in Vanderbilt history. 89 yards. History was made as Civilian outruns Deron Jenkins.
You know, Marcus has taken a bad rap, you know, for his whole career almost about not being a very, very good passer. But he threw that one on the money.
That one was there.
I don't know who it was at the very end. I didn't catch the number who came by at the very end and threw the block once Civilian spun off the defender. But that was a big key block that got him in the end zone.
Great play. Now that outdoes Tom Gray to Bill Fuqua against LSU back in 1945. Marcus Wilson, the senior in his final game, throws an 89-yard bomb, as you see Coach DiNardo over there, to Clarence Civilian, and let's credit Clarence Civilian. It was a great pass, but a spectacular run as Civilian outruns a defender and then does a little juke move around the 8-yard line, and the Commodore's on top.
That's going to add to Clarence's 18 yards per catch
No
average.
kidding.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I was shocked to see him going back to pass. I really was.
I was here in the box saying, don't throw it, don't throw it. You're 3 points down. I mean, you know, you're in good shape to go in at the half. Don't do anything silly. You know, I guess that's why I'm up here and he's down there coaching.
So Chura kicks off. And they haven't been deep, but the Commodores have done a nice job in the slick turf.
No, I think he blew a shoe.
Did he blow a shoe?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's laying down there on about the 18.
Bring him a spare. Ronald Davis on the turf. Flat tire and all.
Now, the Tennessee offense is going to have to make some kind of response to the big play. They can't just run the clock out and go in for the half at 10-7. They've got to make some kind of concerted effort to put a drive together. They've got plenty of time, 2:29 and a few timeouts left, and they've just got to take the initiative now to respond to the big play.
And if I'm Vanderbilt, I'm thinking the same thing. You know, they're not going to sit back on their heels, so let's not sit back on our heels.
And a first down for Tennessee. The quick out pass to Corey Fleming. And let's take a look at the spectacular play one more time. 3rd down and 11.
Straight drop. Let's see if we can catch the number of the guy that throws the block down here at the end. It was You know, he does a good job of getting away and doing the little zigzag to try to get away. See who comes in and throws the block right here. I couldn't tell.
He was a blur.
12. I believe it was number 12, Gabe Banks.
Gabe appreciates the nod, whether it was him or not.
I saw it too. And I don't believe Marcus got down there that fast.
Well, there's another pass to Horn, the tight end. That's his second catch of the afternoon. He has 8 for the season.
Vanderbilt defense is playing a little bit soft now, and Heath Schuler's taking advantage of the underneath routes. But if you're going to play soft, you need to keep the team from going out of bounds.
That's right.
And as long as you can throw underneath and go out of bounds, you got a chance to make some things happen.
And Heath Schuler bounces it to Craig Faulkner. He was harassed in the backfield. James Manley among those.
Heath Schuler's very lucky right there, because if that ball's just a little bit higher, it's gone the other way for 6.
Davis broke on it.
He broke on it.
He just didn't get there quite in time.
That's right. He had a good thought, but when he got tackled around the ankles, he should have just eaten it and not tried to complete the football.
2:13. There's another third down conversion possibility for the Volunteers. They're the best in the conference at it. Out to Garner. He falls forward, short of the first down. Barely got back to the line of scrimmage. And look at that big hoss. Number 56 is James Manley, 6'4", 282 pounds, and he's a freshman from Birmingham, my neck of the woods, went to Huffman High School.
This is just a straight little drop back and looking downfield, and I think if he had it to do over again, he'd hold that one a little longer.
Yeah, he had time to hold it.
He had time to hold it, and he made a decision a little fast, because the play was designed to open up a little bit later, and actually did, but he took the sure thing, but it was just a little bit too fast.
Now Vanderbilt has called the timeout. Vanderbilt has called the timeout to keep Tennessee from running the clock down before they punt.
We're under 2 minutes to play before halftime. You see that Vandy defense. Good look at the field now. Overcast afternoon. This stadium is certainly heating up with what's transpired here in the last couple of minutes. Jerry DiNardo does not refer to Tennessee as Tennessee. He's trying to add even more fuel to the rivalry, as you see Johnny Majors, who told me yesterday that in all his years, in all his games, Vandy hits UT harder than any other opponent.
I can vouch for that.
It goes likewise. Anytime you play in a rivalry like this, everything's intensified, no matter what your record is.
Are they coming after, or are they going to fake it?
I would try to hold it. With the punt return that Vanderbilt has, averaging 12 yards, I'd try to get a return. And then they fair catch. So I'm 0 for 2 on play calls today.
Brothers with a fair catch. He's handled all but one punt return for the Commodores this season. He's been a busy man and a sure-handed guy to have back there. So a minute 47 to go.
Jeff's a former quarterback. Came here from Brentwood Academy right outside Nashville and Franklin, and I remember when I was in school here, I remember Jeff running around the football office. His mother was a secretary in the football office, and I can remember when he was a little fella. I think it's making me feel old up here seeing him out there playing college football.
We'll see what they have in their bag of plays now as Marcus Wilson. That seems to be his favorite play as he vaults forward for a gain of 6 or 7.
Marcus almost looked like he expected to get hit. Nobody hit him.
Nobody hit him.
Here he goes again. He's doing a good job of cutting it up and getting positive yardage, which is what you want right here. Yeah, he looked like he expected to get hit, and nobody hit him.
And limping off the field is Kevin Mays.
They're always concerned when he comes off. He's just come from under constructive knee surgery and trying to get back in and start playing again. So when you see him come off the field, it's I guess the trainers hold their breath a little bit.
Second down and 5. And there's the shuttle pass to Jackson. And it went nowhere. Jeff Tullis on the stop, and Jeff is a senior, his last game here.
Here's a look at this shuffle pass, and it's intended to look like the straight drop back, and you bring them back underneath and pitch it forward. it's relatively safer than it looks. You know, if the guy drops it, it's not a fumble, it's an incomplete pass, and it's a relatively safe pass, and one I used to love to throw because it helps the old pass percentage
It
out.
sure does. And it's easy to throw.
Under a minute to play. In fact, we're closing in on the 30-second mark. It's third down and a long 10, and here comes the passing bandit. They'll try the same play again. Why not? This time, though, Tennessee was ready for it. Tracy Smith was there. That was the same play. Didn't
Same
catch
play,
him napping.
but, you know, if he'd taken a look to the other side, he had a chance. He gets it up. He gets a lot of air. The thing about the long ball is giving enough air underneath it so your receiver can make adjustments and get to it. And two good things can happen. You either catch it or you get interference. But that time, the receiver and the defender were not close enough to even question the interference call.
And if that had been intercepted and tackled at the point, it would have been as good as a punt.
David Lawrence has been a valuable guy, and he barely gets that one away. And he gets a pretty good bounce.
Some of the Vandy people thought maybe he'd been roughed. I don't. Let's take a look here and see.
Let's see. 1, 2, punt. And the back foot hits the ground. That's a great acting job.
Yeah, he did a good job.
That was a good one, though. I mean, it was close.
And then fall under all of them.
Yeah.
Once
You gotta play it out.
16 ticks to go. Keith Schuler has the single setback. And over the middle, it's caught by Summers. Or Ronald Davis. Check that. Gets the ball down to around the 38. There's 8 seconds to play.
The Vanderbilt defense has got to be very careful because they're in a semi-prevent, which is a cover 2, very loose. And there's just too much time on the clock to play that type of defense because Bexforth he's a 45-yarder. He's good from there.
He's got a good, strong leg. And you know, you can't let any quarterback sit back there 5, 6 seconds and let a guy sit back here and let people run through zones.
That's
you know,
right.
Sooner or later, somebody's going to get open. You know, here's a look at it.
They're not. Vanderbilt's not even rushing.
No,
they're
not
standing
rushing.
up trying to bat the ball,
Yeah.
but there's so much cushion. Catches the ball and there's
The
8 or
closest
10
guy
yards.
is 7, 8 yards away.
You can't do it. You can't do it. I'm a big proponent of the prevent defense, preventing you from winning. I don't like it. I think you should play what defense is comfortable for you, and if you do that, just loosen up. But
Well, you've made a game plan about being aggressive and doing this and that, but you know, it gets near the end of the half, and you automatically almost give somebody 3 points because you're playing a prevent. You know, I'm not saying they've given 3 points away yet, but I'm with you. I don't like it. I used to love it when people did it to me.
Oh,
you know,
it's All-Star Week time when they do that.
I mean, you let anybody sit back there long enough, and they're going to find somebody to throw it to.
Right.
8 seconds to go before halftime. Schuler quickly completes the pass. Flag down on the play. We'll check out the flag. The clock stops. It was completed out of bounds to Kendrick Jones.
Illegal formation, or was that 1, 2, 3?
I think there's 12 folks
Too
out
many
there.
men on the field is what it looks like.
There's 12 out there now.
That was the indication. Not good.
We're checking on the penalty.
That carries loss of down, although that really is not that important with 3 seconds left. I don't believe we can count him in that picture, but right after he gave the indication, we thought it was an illegal man downfield, but that happened awful quick to get somebody downfield.
That's right.
Three seconds to go. That was a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, carries loss
Illegal
of down, I believe.
participation was the official call. And we're almost, I guess, in Hail Mary territory.
Yeah, this is going to be Now, this may be the one time I may want to go back into a somewhat of a prevent, okay? But you never know. I mean, you let a guy have 7, 8 yards cushion, he can make 2 or 3 miss, and it'll be a touchdown.
If they give Heath the chance, you'll see how far he can throw this football.
And here he goes. He heaves it. It's going to reach the end zone, or at least close to it.
Oh.
That's an exciting play. There were parties of both sides right there. So the half ends. Vanderbilt 10, Tennessee 7. And Whit Taylor, you have to be excited with that pass play. That brought back memories, didn't it?
Been in a lot of Vanderbilt Tennessee games as a player and a coach, and with few exceptions, it's always tough.
Always tough. In fact, other than last year, we've had to come from behind in the second half. I know at least the 3 games prior to that. And this is no different. Vanderbilt's playing very well. They have a good, solid football team. Our offense has to do a much better job of sustaining drives and not stopping ourselves. We have been on the field once, you know, and then we had an illegal procedure downfield. Vanderbilt's out scrapping us with our defense. Our defense has done an outstanding job against the bone, except the one pass. The long pass is a big difference in the ball game right now.
Coach, a lot of people question out there, a lot of experts out there, 4th and 1. You regret punting it?
I don't know experts in that question. I know no experts know that much about the game. 4th and 2, hell, you punt the football. I've coached a lot longer than experts have. What else you need to know?
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Johnny Majors, Frank as always.
Go down and listen to what Johnny Majors had to say.
Coach Majors, you've been in a lot of Vanderbilt Tennessee games as a player and a coach, and with few exceptions, it's always tough.
Always tough. In fact, other than last year, we've had to come from behind in the second half. I know at least the 3 games prior to that. And this is no different. Vanderbilt's playing very well. They have a good, solid football team. Our offense has to do a much better job of sustaining drives and not stopping ourselves. We have been on the field once, you know, and then we had an illegal procedure downfield. Vanderbilt's out scrapping us with our defense. Our defense has done an outstanding job against the bone, except the one pass. The long pass is a big difference in the ball game right now.
Coach, a lot of people question out there, a lot of experts out there, 4th and 1. You regret punting it?
I don't know experts in that question. I know no experts know that much about the game. 4th and 2, hell, you punt the football. I've coached a lot longer than experts have. What else you need to know?
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Johnny Majors, Frank as always.
Tony Jackson with a 38-yard kickoff return to start the second half has put the Commodores in great field position, their best field position of the game so far. That interview with Johnny Majors was taped about 10 minutes ago, so for those at home wondering why he was talking while the game was going on, no, that was taped about 10 minutes ago. 1st and 10 from the 38.
One of the key points that I reiterated on at the beginning of the game was the coverage of the Tennessee coverage teams, and that was just not a great coverage team that time and on the kickoff, and as a result, Vanderbilt has great field position, and now the onus is on the defense.
Let's look at the numbers from the first half. There you see the passing yardage, thanks to that great play, is close. The total yards, not close. Time of possession in favor of Vanderbilt, or in favor of Tennessee, but they're behind on the scoreboard.
I think the one thing that's kind of scary if you're a Vanderbilt person, though, is they only have 36 yards rushing at the half. That's what they live and die by, and with 36 yards rushing, I think they're going to have to come out and try to improve on that.
2 more by Tony Jackson. So it will probably be 3rd down and 5, perhaps 6 for the first down. They had great field position thanks to that kickoff return by Jackson. They've been stymied in their first 2 tries.
Okay, again, they're trying to get the ball deep to Jackson and let him see some holes and make those cuts deep in the backfield. It's a good job by the Tennessee defense.
That was Ben Talley, number 90. 3rd down and 7, they're calling it. There's Wilson back to pass. Finds an open man. That's Civilian again. He puts another great move on the defender and gets down to around the 33-yard line. Clarence Civilian.
I think Clarence was a little surprised that he didn't step out of bounds. He kind of 2-stepped over there and looked down and found out, hey, I'm not out of bounds, and made a great play.
Hurt his shoulder on the play, I do believe.
This is the exact same play we saw him practice at warm-ups.
Right, this is the second time he's caught this ball. He's been doing a good job after he catches it.
He sure has. They're a little bit concerned with him over there. He walked off like he had a shoulder injury.
And another injured player for Vanderbilt on the field. There you see Civilian, and it does appear that he has injured that shoulder in some way. He's holding it down. Boy, those are some impressive numbers. 3 catches, 131 yards, and Royce Love, the fullback, is number 48.
That's a big blow for Vanderbilt. If Royce Love goes down, he's been a guy they've relied on the last few games to carry the load for that plugger into the fullback position, and he's done a good job for him. I hope he's okay.
1st and 10 from the 33. Marcus Wilson has nice passing numbers. Tony Jackson with a nifty run, and he saw daylight for a moment, but was tripped up by J.J. McCleskey.
J.J. makes a touchdown-saving tackle right here.
Yeah, you can see right here, you're absolutely right. He did a good job of making the tackle. He's one guy away right here from scoring. Good tackle.
Gain of 7 for Tony Jackson. Just a freshman, or he's a junior out of Saginaw, Michigan. Averaging close to 6 yards a pop. That time he gained 7. 12:25 on the clock and counting. There's a handoff up the middle. Eric Lewis on the carry. Eric has moved into the fullback slot now that Royce Love is on the sidelines.
Yeah, Eric usually alternates out there with Derek Willem at the wingback position.
Eric's a young man from Oxford, Alabama, went to Munford High School, and kind of like to be playing that fullback slot at 200 pounds, but what the heck. He'll take the opportunity to get some playing time.
Yeah, I think Coach DiNardo wants somebody in there with a little experience. He doesn't want to, I'll say that, and Royce Love playing as a true freshman, but he has that game experience the last 4 or 5 games.
And he has a few more rocks in his pocket, too.
That's right.
He's a little heavier, and that makes for a better fullback.
3rd down and about a half a yard for the Commodores. Nice kickoff return by Tony Jackson. Clutch pass to Clarence Civilian, and now they're trying to advance it for another 1st down. 2 tight ends. Hand off to Tony Jackson, who gets the 1st down. Keeps fighting forward. And the crowd excited about it.
I know Tony wants those extra yards, but once Tony's lost that forward progress, he needs to get down and don't let those guys take a chance at stripping the ball out.
Just right, good upward running. The offensive line surge was really great on that play. You didn't see any Tennessee helmets come through that surge, and when a running back gets that kind of room, he can pick up a couple of yards very easily.
Jason Parker, Tracy Smith, a couple of DBs made the stop. 1st and 10 from the 19. Here comes Wilson looking to pass again. Couldn't connect that time. He was looking for Civilian, who's back in the game.
It's a great defensive play.
I was going to say we haven't had a chance to talk much about the defensive backs on either side of the field today, but this was a great defensive play. Watch the back arm being stripped away from the ball. Deron Jenkins, and I guess that would atone a little bit for the burnt play on the 88-yard bomb.
He's the one that got beat for the long bomb.
As they say in the old terms, he's got to make great plays the rest of the day.
2nd and 10 now. Ball still on the 19. And there's the play to Jackson. And again, another nice tackle saves a possible score. That time it was the big fella. Number 94 is Willie Richards.
Boy, I tell you, it looks like they're one guy away from a touchdown on a couple of plays in this drive, and with some good tackling to keep them from doing that.
Especially on that play, because they ran right into the blitz, and the blitz guy ran past the ball carrier. There was nobody left to make a tackle if Willie Richards doesn't make the tackle.
Royce Love back in the game. Tony Jackson on the sidelines after being shaken up. Cliff Dees is the tailback. It's 3rd and 7. Here comes Wilson looking for Civilian in the end zone, overthrows it. So Robbie Churro will come on to attempt his 2nd field goal of the day.
You know, I kind of believe they were expecting a man coverage on that, and they got a zone and trying to throw the post corner into the zone. That's a tough route to throw.
It's a tough route to throw, especially what we talked about earlier before the game. You've got to throw that ball with some touch and up and over. You can't throw that on the line drive. And That time it was just too much of a line drive, and it was incomplete.
Here's the field goal attempt from 35, and it's good. 13-7 Vanderbilt. Robbie Chura, 2 nice kicks.
Yeah, I think Vanderbilt also did something on that drive that they need to be thinking about and need to do on offense. They took almost 5 minutes off the clock on that drive, and each offensive series they can do that, you know, they're going to be successful.
Well, that time the eye bone didn't look too bad. Of course, again, they were catapulted by that great kickoff return from Tony Jackson that gave them field position at 41.
Well, field position is ultra important, and I've talked about it all during the game, and the kickoff coverage teams of Tennessee have got to improve. They've not been good for the last 3 weeks, and you just can't continue to give teams that are ball control teams the ball at the 25, 30-yard line and give them a chance to run 5 minutes off the clock, because Tennessee's offensive prowess as far as having a great big-time receiver that's going to break open the game, that's not their makeup anymore. So they don't play catch-up too well if they get too far behind.
Robbie Chura will kick off. Again, take note, the Volunteers are 30-1 in the month of November since 1985. Their only loss came to Notre Dame in 1990. That wild game at Neyland Stadium. It's not often they lose this month, but right now they're down by 6. Lots of time to go. 10:33 on the clock. And Ronald Davis was right up the middle around the 28-yard line, possibly the 29, and that's where the Volunteers will start their first drive of the second half.
You know, right now Vanderbilt has the momentum. It's going to be interesting to see how Tennessee comes out and tries to take that away. It's all, you know, a lot of football games is dealt with momentum. Who's got momentum now? What do you do to take it away? It's going to be interesting to see how Tennessee does it. Whether they come out and try to throw quick or whether they try to come back and run it down the field. There's a look at Chura's field goal. He's been on the money twice, right down the middle.
And there's a handoff right up the middle. You saw the scoring drive for the Commodores.
Did you notice on that field goal what a great snap that was? A lot of people don't give the credit to the centers that they deserve, but when you can snap that ball back with the laces already down and the holder doesn't have to turn it around, it's a great advantage to the kicker. And that was John Dooling, right?
Yeah,
John Dooling. It's not often a snapper gets mentioned on a telecast.
Well, I believe I spent a lot of time with those guys.
Yeah,
that's right. I understand.
Good point. Good point. Pete Shula with some nice numbers, and he rolls out again. He has time and decides to run with it. Gets knocked out of bounds. For a moment there, it appeared that Faulkner was open, but he decided to run instead of pass.
Well, he was open. And if you'll take a look at it, it's a little rollout, a bootleg, fake bootleg. He gets outside, and they're running a flood pattern, which is a flat pattern and a corner pattern. When you're running a corner pattern into a zone, you can't continue to run to the sideline. You've got to stop and give your quarterback a squared-up vision so he can throw it into you on them. You can't continue to move or you're asking for an interception, and that's why Schuler just tucked it under and took what he could. Big play here, 3rd and 2.
Schuler connects with Ronald Davis, who gets the first down, and he's knocked out of bounds.
It's a good job of just running a little, almost like a little pick play out there to get the first down.
We can say that, but pick is illegal.
Yeah, but you and I both know that goes on.
That's exactly what it is. I think it was Faulkner just runs an inside route, and all he wants to do is make the defender that's covering Ronald Davis run over top of him. If he does that, you can get the first down.
That's exactly right.
That's a legal pick unless they call it.
That's right.
Tennessee winning the first down battle, losing on the scoreboard at the moment. Incomplete to Colquitt, I believe, or Faulkner, excuse me.
Schuler to Faulkner. That's become a pretty good little combination today.
And they'll be back. Yeah.
Faulkner got squashed, and they had to peel him off the turf that time. Smokey's put on a coat.
It is that cold.
He got cold, even with all that fur, huh? 9 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. 2nd down and 3. There's Charlie Garner. Finds a nice hole to run through and falls past the first down marker. Another first down for Tennessee.
Now that was almost one tackle away from being a biggie too. That was great running by Charlie and Charlie Garner, and it was just a great tackle there to prevent a big score.
Look at the score, guys. I guess you might say Florida's looking ahead to Alabama.
Well, Florida State's making a statement.
45-17.
I believe the latter.
Yeah. Everybody's talking about Miami and Alabama playing for a national championship, but they want their name thrown in there too.
And flag down on the play. Charlie Garner goes for a first down, but the flag was back behind the line of scrimmage, and Heath Schuler had his hands up in the air, and now he's nodding in approval. So
it was late though.
Could be a hold. We'll check the call.
This is just an area block play. You get attached to your man, and what you're trying to do is get your outside shoulder outside of his outside shoulder. And you just keep moving upfield and running and moving, and then your back just picks his direction. He can go one of many ways. If you hook the guy, he'll stay outside. If you push him inside out, he goes inside. So it's an option run, even though it is a sweep.
Awful lengthy discussion trying to figure out what this one's about.
They've had several of those today.
This is a personal foul, I think, against Heath Schuler.
Hit the quarterback late.
You can't do that when that back official's standing there.
No. I mean, and the guy, you know, it's really a useless foul because he just hands the ball off. You know, it's a straight handoff. Why hit him?
There goes those emotions you were talking about earlier. You've got to control them. You've got to control them. You can't do that.
Volunteers in business at the 19-yard line. It'll be first down and 10. 8:26 on the clock after the 15-yard personal foul call. Tack it on to the 10-yard run by Gardner. They're looking pretty good right now. Although the Commodores defense gets sticky when they need to. All sorts of players in there, led by number 27 among them, Aaron Smith.
If you'll take a look at this, the Vanderbilt defense jumps right before the play, which really it messes up the blocking scheme. If you have your blocking scheme down and right before the snap they move over a man, it changes everybody's blocking scheme, and that's what happened. And when that usually happens and you have to think before you react, you don't block anybody, and the kind of play you just saw happens.
You know, right here may be a chance where Vanderbilt has to take some chances too. Tennessee's been very, very good inside the 20.
Schuler over the middle, and the ball was batted at the line. That was DeWitt. DeWitt made the last stop too, and that time got his hand up to bat the ball down. He's had a nice game, John DeWitt.
Yeah, we've said his name quite a few times. You know, if you can't get to the passer, the best thing to do is stop, try to find his throwing lane, jump up, and try to tip the ball. He didn't get much penetration, but he did make something happen with the jump and the tip.
Look for the Tennessee offense to come back to that play sometime in this game. Is that Coach Hubba Bubba there? Coach Keene usually is the guy with his hat turned back. There's a guy wide open in the end zone that time, and they'll probably come back to that play.
Third down and 13. Schuler over the middle.
There he is, and he missed it.
Through the hands of Dwayne Freeman. Some other scores from around the country today. Boy, the Seminoles are really putting a hurting on the Gators. Ole Miss in the battle for the Egg Bowl.
Well, I knew that
battle
would
for
be
the
a
Golden
good
Egg,
game.
I guess. 17-10. Middle Tennessee over Appalachian State, 28-0. That's the 1AA playoffs.
Middle Tennessee has a good football team this year. They've got 6 or 7 NFL prospects.
John Becksport, 16 of 21 in field goals this season. And he misses it wide right. Becksport pushes it a little bit off to the side.
But that's an emotional lift for Vanderbilt. You know, you get points, Tennessee drives down and misses a field goal. That has to lift you up a little bit.
And what it also does is dodges a bullet because of a very, very silly 15-yard personal foul.
That's exactly right.
It gets you out of a situation where you could basically say, well, we made a silly mental mistake. Yes, it's
here's a look.
Just on the outside of the pole. Ouch, just a little bit.
Boy, that hurt my neck just looking at that camera angle, I tell you. 7:29 to go in the third quarter. Commodores clinging to a 13-7 lead.
Tennessee defense got to come up big here. They cannot let Vanderbilt take 5 minutes off the clock and get any kind of points here. If that happens, the momentum has definitely switched over to the gold and black.
And if you're Vanderbilt, that's exactly what you want to do. You want a nice, long, sustained drive right here. Eat up some more of the clock.
And stopped quickly is Royce Love. Tony Jackson not back in the game. Cliff Dees is the tailback. Jackson left in the last drive. He was shaken up a bit. Eric Lewis back in there also. So Love, Lewis, and Cliff Dees make up the backfield in that I-bone set. Second down and 9. Johnny Majors with those big old gloves on. There's Dees. Stopped again for maybe a yard.
You know, and this puts Vanderbilt right back in that 3rd and long situation. You take a look right here. Again, it's the sprint draw that Dees and Jackson have been running all day. And again, yeah, there's a good lick in there by
Willie Richards.
Willie Richards and a lot of other orange hats around the ball.
Willie Richards has had a nice ball game with a couple of nice hits. Senior from Griffin, Georgia. You see the rushing yards. Andy's catching up slowly but surely. It's a 3rd and a long 8 from the 25. Wilson back to pass. Over the middle, connects. Fumble. Vandy recovered, but they're short of the first down. It would have been awful close.
Yeah,
but with a fumble, they're short now.
I'm not sure he would have had the first down had he held on to it. It would have been a lot closer than it is now.
Derek Wilham, a wing back on the reception.
Well, the Tennessee defense has responded.
They did a good job of slowing down the momentum a little bit.
That's a great strip job right there by just grabbing the backside arm, watch this, and ripping it out by J.J. McCleskey. Because the hit didn't cause that. J.J. weighs about 150 maybe. What he did was very technique conscious and took the backside elbow and stripped the ball out.
Boy, David Lawrence is having a great kicking game. Oh, you missed one.
Look at that wall. If he can get to it, he's got some running room, and he couldn't quite get to it. Busting through was number 45, Brandon Culpepper. Let's go down to Bill, who'll tell us more about Tony Jackson, we think.
Okay, gentlemen, an update on Tennessee defensive lineman Kevin Mays. He left the game right before halftime, came back out in street clothes and crutches. I talked to Tennessee trainer Mike Rollo. It's not the knee he injured earlier. It is a knee injury, slightly sprained. He will not participate, obviously, today. Could come back for the bowl game.
Bill, thank you. Let us know if you find out anything on Tony Jackson, who missed the last drive, the last possession. Schuler back to pass, and he completes it out of bounds. Nice job, nice throw, nice grab by Kendrick Jones.
A lot of cushion by the corner.
A lot of cushion, and Kendrick is one of those up-and-coming players. What I talked to you about earlier in the broadcast, if you notice, Tennessee was on the right hash. They threw a deep out to the left side of the field. That is a long throw. Schuler can make that throw. That makes the defensive people have to play the whole entire field. They have to do that now with the arm of Heath Schuler. Mental mistakes.
Flag down, some sort of mix-up. Schuler has been impressive showing off that arm. 10 touchdown passes this season, 4 interceptions. Procedure on the Volunteers, taking back 5 yards.
Looks like Jeff Smith got a little bit anxious there and got off the ball. Hey, good technique, though. Hey,
it almost looked like everybody left but the center. Everybody was ready to play the him. It's not going to happen unless he throws it back.
He knew the snap count and nobody else did, I guess. Huh? Schuler back to pass again. And plenty of time and a good lick. Laid on Greg Faulkner.
That's a good call, too. He never had possession of that.
Watch this hit, guys. He really crunched Greg Faulkner.
Yeah, and the throw really wasn't that high. It was just he just hit him in the rib cage, and
That's one of the reasons when you're a wide receiver and you're running hook patterns, you better come back and get the ball. If you wait for it like that, you're going to take a shot. If you come back and get it, you've got the momentum going your other way.
Watch Brad Brown.
Well, I tell you, I don't miss those.
No, I don't either.
That's when you need to wear a flak jacket, huh?
Oh, yeah. I've had the occasion to wear one of those. Not real good. And Craig's probably got some sore ribs right now. But the one thing about catching hook patterns when you're stopping in zones, you catch it, tuck the ball away, and get that elbow down to protect yourself. I think Craig was anticipating that hit a little more than he should have, and I hope he's okay.
.4:56 to play in the third quarter. Second down and 15. Ball's on the 41, and again, it's the Commodores 13, Volunteers 7. Schuler has had a fine day passing the football. He sets up the screen. Charlie Garner gets tackled from behind.
I'll be honest with you, Conrad, they had me fooled on that.
I've seen that one before. And
that was almost the old Statue of Liberty screenplay. I was fixing, they had the reverse play pretty good.
They sure did.
The modern day version of the Statue of Liberty, huh? With a screen passed as a hitch. Alan Young on the stop. You saw him there from behind, number 58 for Vanderbilt.
Now, Alan's a great story. He's a guy that's come back also from reconstructive knee surgery, and really an inspiration to some of the young players on Vanderbilt. He didn't have to come back, and he fought through it.
Wide open was Ronald Davis.
That may be his one bad throw of the day. It looked like he almost thought he was going to sit, and the receiver kept running. He cut it loose pretty good. That's what it looks like.
That's a little bit behind him, but like I said before, there's certain things you expect it to do, and your Alvin Harpers and your Carl Pickens make that catch. And Ronald Davis can make that catch. It's just he's got to start doing it. He's expected to be the big player for the University of Tennessee Football Club. He's just got to start making the plays. He will.
Tom Hutton with a punt. And the ball's now on the 24-yard line after the catch and run by Brothers.
Jeff did a good job just to get over and catch that ball. You don't want to let that thing hit on this artificial turf. You never know how far it's going to bounce and roll. And, they keep themselves in decent field position here. If you can start ahead of the 20-yard line, you're in good shape.
43-yard punt. Both punters have done a fine job on a day where you might think it wouldn't be great for punters with the football being cold and hard, but they're really booting it. Here comes Marcus Wilson. We've seen that play a time or two today.
Marcus has tried that play several times, and still, Tennessee's doing a very good job against the I-bone. They've worked and prepared really hard, got a solid game plan right here against it.
What really helped them was last week against Kentucky, too, because not only do you get to face it physically, you get to watch film 2 weeks in a row on the same type of offense. Not necessarily the same offense, but the reads and the timing factor are the same.
Second down and 11.
Blitz look.
10 men up near the line of scrimmage. Eric Lewis on the carry. Gain maybe 4 yards. And for all the Tennessee fans listening to our broadcast today, remember now, with Christmas around the corner, there's a great gift item for you. It only costs $19.99. It's the video called Give 'Em 6. John Ward and Bill Anderson's 10 greatest games, only $19.99. It's available at participating JCPenney stores throughout Tennessee. It's also available by calling 1-800-488-3883. Again, the video is called Give 'Em 6. And yes, there is a Condridge Holloway highlight on that tape. It's got to be. Third down and 7.
Here's that position they're in again. That
third and long. And we got illegal.
The clock ran out. Too much time. So it'll be 3rd and 12.
Yeah, that's even worse.
They're in a hole. Of course, the last time they were in a hole like this, they threw the 89-yard pass play. Civilian is in the football game.
You know, it's hard to get behind somebody and get beat deep twice in one game, especially the same guy, because he probably won't be in there much after that.
No. But Tennessee also gave him that opportunity by playing man coverage. I mean, this is definitely not man coverage here, and I don't think that opportunity will arise again.
Marcus Wilson with a dangerous pitch out to Dees. But he gets it and rambles up to the 31, short of the first down. Let's check in with Bill King. Bill?
Okay, guys, I talked to Tony Jackson, Vanderbilt's eye back. I said, how do you feel? Will you be back? And he says, well, I don't know. I talked to the trainer for Vanderbilt, Fred Tedeschi. He said it's a jam toe. That's the medical terminology. He probably will be back.
All right, a jam toe for Vandy's leading rusher, Tony Jackson. Sounds painful. A jam toe.
Well, if it's anything like turf toe, it is very painful. Basically what happens is your toenail gets knocked back up into your foot. And
Boy,
that's
don't go any
painful.
farther. That's enough of a description for me. 1:26 on the clock. It's 13-7. And David Lawrence with a 41-yard kick. There's a guy, no jam toes, doing an excellent job of kicking the football. And he was a key at the beginning of the game that Bill talked about on the field. Whit mentioned it also, and he's done his job.
He's done a good job of you know, keeping them backed up and having them start in you know, not really great field position. And I think it's been a key, and I thought he had to be a key coming into the game.
Hand off to Charlie Garner.
Garner on the carry.
And the Commodores are doing a good job of closing the hole quickly. They're showing some quickness on defense. And again, there's the guy we've mentioned several times, Alan Young.
You know, we talk about how good the defense did, and they are doing good. But you look, and Charlie's got 4, and Charlie's got 5, and they're in good second and third down positions. And you know, that's the concern I have is you're giving Tennessee too many good play calling positions.
Charlie Garner cutting back. That time he might have eked out a yard. John DeWitt in there, number 52. John not wearing a T-shirt of any sort. I guess he's not cold at all, huh? Doesn't feel it right now. He's too charged up.
Yeah, those big guys can do that. I don't see how they do it, but thick skin, I guess, huh?
Yeah, that's it. It's that fat layer.
Counting down the end of the third quarter. This will be the last play. There you see the time. 3rd down and 6. Forced out of the pocket. And a first down. And he tried to tight walk the sideline, but nevertheless he got the first down. That was Kendrick Jones. They lead the conference in 3rd down conversions.
Well, they showed a little different formation that time. They really bunched that trips up, and
They showed a tight formation, and what they did was release the wide receivers on go patterns and brought Kendrick Jones underneath, which just a nice little underneath pattern, and this young man has some speed. You get a mismatch with him on a slower man in man coverage, and it's blocked the extra point.
There's Garner vaulting over the line and going to the outside, gaining 6, possibly 7, and the third quarter comes to an end. The Commodores with a 13-7 lead. The Volunteers are driving on a march.
Whit, if we could teach cuts like that, we'd be the greatest coaches.
And Charlie Garner has been a workhorse today. Big hole, credit to line. Great surge up front, and they just blew Vanderbilt off the football.
That's little man Stewart. They switched on you there.
They sure did. He's finally in there. I got so used to saying Charlie Garner because he'd run every time.
They got the ball deep to little man, and he's a different type of runner than Charlie Garner. You won't see the quick little cuts and breaks, but he's more of an upright runner. He's a little bit bigger and probably a little bit stronger. But one thing they both do is finish off the run on a positive note. They're leaning forward. Very rarely do they get knocked backward.
Little man, 6'1", 195 pounds. Not what I call a little man. And there's the fake. Shula good attack, and over the middle, wide open. close to a first down. Corey Fleming.
Well, they've had a lot of success with that bootleg today.
They sure have. And what they're basically doing is, as you can see, once Schuler gets outside, he's got three options. He's got a corner route, he's got a flat route, and he's got Corey Fleming coming from the backside. So they're filling three different levels of the field. And for defense, it's very hard to defend it because you've got to take one of the two. You don't have three guys to cover it. And in a zone, that's how you eat a zone up.
You've got linebackers that are supposed to be there,
That's right.
but have bitten on the play action tape.
They see a quarterback break contain, and their first instinct is to rush him.
Second down and 2. Schuler gets the first down and more. Up close to the 5-yard line is Corey Fleming. Tennessee on a serious march now.
Now this is a weapon that Tennessee uses whenever you're going to play off, because Corey Fleming is a big receiver, and if defensive backs that are smaller are going to play off of him, Tennessee will throw the hitch pattern, and he's a good enough athlete. He can make one guy miss, it's a touchdown. He's a big enough athlete, he's going to get positive yardage no matter what.
He made one of the most sensational runs against South Carolina on the one touchdown he made up there I've ever seen.
Fleming stepped out of bounds, so the ball is on the 13, first and 10. Tennessee 38 out of 42 and scoring inside the orange zone, and he tries to score there and doesn't. Hang on.
That's a perfect call, though, because you've got a 6'4" guy against a guy that's 5'10", maybe 6 foot.
And they're jawing at each other.
Oh, they're jawing, but if it happens again, you've got to try the same thing.
See, these two guys probably played against each other in high school. Robert Davis is from Whites Creek High School here in Nashville, and Corey Fleming is from Stratford.
All right, guys, inside the orange zone. That's what they call it at Tennessee. Some people call it the red zone, but don't say that in Tennessee country. They scored 38 out of 42 times inside the 20, 22 rushing TDs, 4 passing, 12 field goals. That is great.
Very impressive number.
Schuler, another quarterback keeper. Wow, lateral before he falls down. Touchdown, Tennessee. Sensational play, Heath Schuler.
Have you seen a sign yet?
Yep, the one referee put his arms up in the air.
Because I saw a far official. I saw an official waiting to make a call. I thought he was going to call a forward lateral. It's a great pitch. Heath Schuler makes the fake, comes back in. He's tied up a little bit, has the presence of mind to get it out there.
Oh, wow.
That's a great play. You can't teach that.
That's another one of those things you just can't teach.
That's an athlete.
Instinct.
And yes, it is.
Good football instinct.
Becksport.
I got a little excited on that
extra
one.
point. Still perfect, and Tennessee has a 1-point lead. You know what that reminded me of? Remember last week was the 10-year anniversary of that California-Stanford play with all the laterals on the last play by California, and that time as he was going down, everybody wondered, is his knee down? No, he lateraled off, and it was a touchdown Tennessee. Really a nice individual effort from Heath Schuler.
What I saw was the side judge over there didn't make any call, and I thought for sure he was going to call forward lateral because it was close.
Well, they're playing Rocky Top now. Tennessee flag is blowing in the breeze, and they're doing push-ups. They're excited, and why not?
Hey,
their team is no longer behind.
There's 13:31 left, and if the Vanderbilt team comes out and responds to this, we're into a dogfight, and I think that's what it's going to end up being. It's not any interest to Smokey there.
Speaking of dogfight.
Well, but the Vanderbilt response is very, very. It has to be.
It's going to be interesting to see how they answer that.
They've got to respond in a positive way, or this Tennessee crowd will get into this game.
And you hate to see that at a home game for Vanderbilt. You know,
well, we talked about that earlier.
It looks as if there probably are more people from Tennessee here than there are from Vanderbilt.
Well, all I can say is that never happened in Knoxville.
No, it never will.
Yeah, I hope it turns around here because there should be more Vanderbilt people here than Tennessee people, but it is an in-state rivalry, and Tennessee people have a way of getting tickets.
Yeah. They're going to kick away this time.
And fielded at the 12, the pooch kick, the low liner.
There's a hole.
Uh-oh, breaking free, and again, good field position for Vandy up to the 37. That was Gabe Banks, freshman out of Dublin, Ohio, another one of those Ohio kids.
You just got your basic options.
You know, he scored against Kentucky last week on the same play when he kept
little reversed option. Mose Phillips goes in and makes a good block. He gets banged around a little bit. Everybody forces in, and that's just an athletic move that got touchdown for Tennessee.
There's a scoring drive, 9 plays, 71 yards, just under 3 minutes. When they get the ball and mean business, they score quickly. Stewart with a 13-yard scoring strike. There's D's.
That's a good positive play on first down. You know, you get 4 or 5 yards. Now it's a whole lot easier to call plays. You know, here's a look right here. It's the same play they've been running. It's the same sprint draw they've been running. You get a hat on a hat up front with the offensive lineman and let the running back pick holes.
J.J. McCleskey in on that stop. Tony Jackson apparently with that stubbed toe still ailing on the sideline. Cliff Dees at tailback, and there's Dees with the pitch. Dangerous pitch, but he breaks free. First down, Commodores.
Marcus answers with the pitch of his own.
That's right. That was a great play. He took a chance, and poor tackling by Tennessee.
I mean, you have to have done this over and over and over, you know, at practice, and this is what they do. This is what they, you know, the basis of their offense is the option.
Wow.
I mean, you work on that quite a bit. You've got to have a lot of faith in your buddy that he's where he's supposed to be, and you can't give up on the pitch if you're the tailback, and that was just a well-executed play.
12:28 on the clock. First and 10 from the 43. The pump fake. He's going deep. Civilian's open. Catches it. Touchdown Vanderbilt.
Oh, he bid on that one.
He bid on that one big time.
Bad.
Clarence Civilian making bids for all Southeastern Conference honors with that tremendous grab early in the game, and now he comes back again. Commodores on top.
Burns the same guy. This is a little hitch fake. Good pump fake, and this is just a perfect throw. He gives his receiver every opportunity to catch it. Doesn't try to drill it in there. He just lays it out and lets him go get it. He makes the catch.
I tell you, those two seniors are ending it on a very good note. Wilson to Civilian.
Who said Marcus Wilson wasn't a good passer? He's right on the money. Civilian, an excellent receiver, has burned Deron Jenkins, number 18, twice.
2 times.
But Deron's not real.
They're going for 2.
Going to the sideline.
Lining up for 2. Marcus Wilson. There it is. Dees. Uh-oh. He would have had it. Would have had it.
Too bad.
There was an open lane, but he dropped it.
Probably could have walked in, yeah. He's upset with himself, and you're gonna understand why. That's the last man right there. McCleskey's gonna have to make that play, and it's a foot race to the end zone.
JJ would have to make the play of his life because they're running at the.
I like that right there. That's the guy comes off, he makes a bad mistake, and Coach Donardo's the first guy there to meet him and say, hey, that's we're all right. That you did a good job, and
that's a good job, Coach.
I like seeing that.
Yeah. Because he understands there is 12-19 left in this game. You don't want to lose them now. I mean, you make mistakes now, you just have to go on and play the next 12-19. You'll get another opportunity.
Well, there's Wilson, his favorite receiver, Clarence Civilian. 4 grabs today for Civilian, 174 yards. Now that will improve that average that already leads the conference, and there's the man. You hate to keep harping on it, but Deron Jenkins has been burnt twice.
And his buddies need to pick him up, too. Like Conrad said, there's a lot of time left in this game, and he doesn't want to go into a shell right now.
That's right. That's Coach Hubba Bubba. They're talking to him, and Coach Keene will get him jacked up to play, because if you go into the tank now, you can get 2 more on you by the time this game's over. It's 12-19 left. You've just got to fight back and do what you can and get back on a positive note.
Chura with a win behind him, not a very deep kick. Ronald Davis finds a hole up around the 32-yard line. And Marcus Wilson.
The pump fake really plays a big part because they caught the deep out on the option fake 4 or 5 times today, and you just got to give them credit. They set this play up perfect.
Set it up early.
Oh.
I mean, this play was set up in the first quarter. So, the first time they make that throw, you're absolutely right.
Well, actually, what we were talking about, I'm sure we weren't the only people watching them in warm-ups. They set this play up from the warm-ups.
Yeah.
They started running it and ran it over and over.
They kept saying, I've never seen them do that either.
Right.
So that put something in the Tennessee coach's mind.
First and 10 from the 30. Lots of time. 12 minutes, 15 seconds. Keith Steele, a straight handoff. Is that little man again?
He's a high runner. I would say it is little man, because he runs a lot higher than Charlie Garner.
And we should say Deron Jenkins, in all fairness, the freshman from St. Louis, Missouri, is going against the best receiver in the Southeastern Conference, Clarence Civilian, a senior. Florida State bombs Florida 45-24. Of course, the Gators will play Alabama in the SEC championship game. Ole Miss gets the Golden Egg back after Mississippi State beat them. Again, that was a home game for the Rebels, who now go to 8-3. The Bulldogs 7-4. Second and 6 from the 35. And wide open over the middle. That has been there the entire afternoon. And again, that's Greg Faulkner.
Yeah. Good to see him back in there.
All day long, the open is middle. The middle is open. Boy, I got confused there, didn't I?
Well, Craig makes a good play there, but I think
he looks like he's still a little sore.
You could see, if you'll take a look at Craig, well, he just drops back and throws a little in route in the middle, but take a look at a run after the pass is caught. He's still hurting because he doesn't want to get hit right there. He's timid running, so he still probably has a little problem.
And little man again breaks free, finds a huge hole, breaks a tackle, another first down. Tennessee. That's James Stewart, hard running.
It's gone from.
Let's have a game, folks.
10-7 defensive struggle to a track meet here in about 5 minutes. Yeah.
Right through, if you'll watch, right head up runner, headstrong. He gets his level of his head dictates to where he's going. He runs up a little high, but he does get that body lean at the end of the run and always closes on a positive note. He gets positive yardage. Well, that time.
Foul forward.
The turf monster. That's a turf monster foul.
He had 5 carries for 52 yards prior to that.
James saw that cut, but his feet couldn't make it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Watch this. See that toe catch?
Drag right there at the back, left foot.
Artificial turf foul. Natural grass, you make that cut. You don't trip up.
There's Rico Francis. He says, thank you very much. I'll take that tackle. Second and 11. Ball nestled on the 36. Bueller has an open man. It's tight end again. David Horn.
Well, that's a very gracious spot right there.
Wow.
I'm telling you. I don't know if they're going to show this. This may be a pretty good look right here at the spot. I thought his feet went out of bounds right there. And they spotted it up where his hand went out of bounds. I don't know. It wasn't that good of an angle. I'll leave it at that.
Third down and 5. Ball on the 30.
I wouldn't be biased or anything.
Well, no. Of course not.
If you want, I'll get in the middle of you guys as we get down to crunch time.
It's another one of those third down plays.
That's right.
Schuler. Garner.
That's little man.
Good tackle.
That was a nice stop.
Smith.
Aaron Smith. Brad Brown. Is that 37? Brad Brown?
27.
All right.
Let's see who we got here.
Now, once again, I think if he had it to do over again, would probably wait a little while, because when you throw to your flare backs, what you've got to do is make sure that the linebackers are dropping deep enough to take away your hook. And that's the only reason you run a flare and a hook combination. If you don't wait long enough, the linebacker can cover the flare and the hook, and that's what happened on that play. Good defensive play.
That was Aaron Smith, sure enough. Witt was right on. See if John Bexford is right on. From 48, short. Just short. Second miss of the day for Bexford. About a yard short, kicked at 47.
It looked like it started a little bit with the snap. The snap was high. And I know kickers are supposed to always look at that spot, but when they see that holder have to go up high to catch one, it throws them off a little. You're going to get a good look at it here. It looks like it's right on the money and falls just short.
It was straight, but just short.
9:26 on the clock. Marcus Wilson is in along with Civilian.
Now would be the ideal time for one of the long time-consuming drives and end up with points. You know, if you end up with points on this drive, you're going to make Tennessee have to score twice.
Deron Jenkins is back in at his quarterback slot. Volunteers, as you look at Jared DiNardo. The Commodore fans, I think they're Commodore fans. There's maybe a little orange in there. They're just football fans, those kids, yeah.
They're warm fans because it's hard to tell who they're for. They're wrapped up.
From the 32, Wilson. Goes forward for possibly 4. More than likely 3. Again, Clarence Civilian, 174 yards today, is the most by a Southeastern Conference receiver this season, surpassing Andre Hastings, who had 150 against Tennessee in that back-and-forth game, 34-30 game.
You know, if you had been at the first of the year and you said name the receiver that's going to end up with the most yards passing in the game, it wouldn't have been somebody from Vanderbilt. I promise you that.
2nd and 7. And again, it looks like one-on-one coverage. Jenkins wide again, and there's some trickery in the backfield. Falling forward for a couple of yards. Eric Lewis.
Vanderbilt's used that play a few times this year. You can see here, Marcus is going to come down the line and then turn completely around to give this handoff behind him.
That takes a little practice to do that.
You've got to do that more than once in order to get that one down.
You can't just get off the bus and run that one. That's pretty good execution there.
James Wilson for Tennessee with the stop there. Big guys.
And it's a blind handoff. You know, that's scary.
3rd and 4. Wilson cutting back. He runs right into a bunch of guys from Tennessee, and there's number 3 getting fired up, Tracy Smith. They have that one-on-one matchup wide with the receiver on a DB.
Yeah, here's Marcus, and he runs out of decisions. Well, it's a great job by Tennessee's defense.
If you'll watch, Shane Bonham just got the best of his man and made one of the backs have to block him. When that happens, then, you know, 2 guys being taken by 1 leaves 1 guy open, and it's just 1 too many men outside.
David Lawrence having the kicking
He's hit
game
another
of his
one.
career.
Oh, He's hit another one. He's having a great day.
Oh, that looked like a clip.
No flag.
No flag.
Breaking tackles up around the 34-yard line. Good return by Sean Summers.
I tell you, Lawrence is having a day.
He is. He's having a day. You talked about it at the top of the show, and he has definitely been a key factor for the Vanderbilt Commodores.
51 yards on that one. Goodness. Here's a look at what I thought was a clip. I believe we passed it.
7:14
it's a good
to play.
move right there to make him miss.
Move. There's Faulkner wide open.
Good catch.
Again over the middle.
It's a good catch, but it could have been a biggie.
Yeah, because there was nobody
there. There was somebody that made a mistake on that one. You're not supposed to be that wide open, I don't think.
He's been open all day on that route, though, over the middle. Several catches for Craig Faulkner.
He's still hurting a little bit, though. You can tell by the way he runs. Those ribs are probably pretty sore.
You kind of hold your breath while you run so you don't jar anything.
That's true. And don't cough no matter what.
Doing that right at the line.
Tony Cates.
Tony Cates with a nice lick. Number 99.
That's a big play.
Here's a good look at Tony. Transfer from Air Force. Well, he comes unblocked.
There was a checkoff made, and obviously somebody just didn't hear it, didn't get the call, because he is just untouched. Tell you, the 2 kids from Air Force are playing well on both sides of the ball today. And you've got to give credit where credit's due. They're playing well.
3rd down and 6.
There's Craig Faulkner open again.
Wide open. Another 1st down, another 3rd down conversion, and once again, he finds Corey Fleming wide open.
Going to get interesting down the stretch.
Yes, this is a straight drop back, and the option is hook to the field or backside hook underneath with Faulkner. Both of them were open because linebackers are dropping to try to cover the deep hook, and they're leaving the underneath zones open on the short side of the field, and they're getting a little bit too shallow to the wide side of the field. So some adjustments need to be made, but right now Heath Schuler's just taking advantage of it.
And the blitz.
That should be a penalty
He
there.
thought that was a
Who's he throwing to?
He thought that was a receiver.
He was throwing to Jason Lehman,
Oh,
number 66. He was the only guy there.
Well, the only guy he fooled on that one was the referee.
Yeah.
Didn't call that penalty
that's a break.
because he thought
that was his
he
receiver.
thought this was a receiver.
Folks, that guy can't catch one.
See, he sees a flash, and he thinks that's a receiver without a doubt.
Yeah, they got a break.
The tight end was blocking Horn. Of course, he was blocking and was quite busy, but he was in the vicinity. Schuler calls timeout. 5:29 to play in the football game. I tell you, it's gone quick, hasn't it? The second half really has flown by. There hasn't been a lot of penalties. And
I think that's one thing about the whole game. I think it's been very well played by both sides. Very few penalties, very few big mistakes. And I think that's a tribute to both coaches.
Well, and also with what happened last year and the overcautiousness of everybody at the beginning of the game, getting both teams into the dressing room without a melee, you got to believe that the officials have been warned. You take control of this game, anything breaks out, these guys are out of here, and set the precedent right away. And I think it's, like you said, it's a good coaching job on both sides of the field. Hey, get fired up, but let's just play clean football. If you want to hit them hard, do it within the rules.
That's right. That's right. Vanderbilt has all 3 of their timeouts left, as you saw. Tennessee has 2. When you get down to the last 5.5 minutes of the game, those babies become precious.
Oh.
well, I guess now with 5:29 to play, we should mention again, we did off the top in our tees. The last time Vandy beat Tennessee was 1982 when my partner up here, Whit Taylor, was the quarterback. They had those beautiful uniforms.
You've been wanting to get that in all day, haven't you?
What exactly was that color? That wasn't gold, was it? It was kind of a funny.
I think the term was old gold.
Old gold. Old gold on top of old gold. But you did pull off the win, 6-0 in those uniforms at home that year, right?
Looks like a blitz situation coming up right here. They have. Man coverage blitz. They missed it.
Third down. Tennessee responds 43% of the time when faced with a third down play.
This might be 4-down situation here. You never know. I know they're thinking that this is 5:26, but
if they get the eye bone clicking, you can run 5:26 off.
Very easily.
You're right. That's a good point.
Tennessee below their seasonal average. And this is huge with 5:25 on the clock. Third down and 10. Incomplete pass. Volunteers will be forced to punt.
Well,
They're gonna punt.
what Heath didn't understand on that play, I don't think, is that even though it was blitz, they had him blocked.
Right.
And he had a little more time, and if he hangs in there, he finds he has a chance to make a big play. See, they've got him blocked. They've got him blocked.
Yeah, there was. I don't believe he got hit after he threw it. Pretty decent job covered. He had him beat deep. If he had a little more time to set his feet, he may have been able to see that.
Tom Hutton will go for the corner. No, he's not. Sure looked like he was.
That's not the punt he wanted, I don't believe, right there.
Looked like he was facing the corner, though, and he kind of muffed it a little bit.
You want to try to get him pinned back a little bit deeper than that, and I'd say he'd want that one over.
Oh, yeah. That was not what he intended to do. Well, this is going to be an interesting 5-14. Of course, the Tennessee defense has got to respond, but one first down, and this becomes tight.
Yeah.
Very tight.
What you tell Vanderbilt over on the sideline when they're coming back on, say, hey, this is what we do. This is our offense. This is what we live by. Let's go out and prove it. Let's see if we can respond to it.
Ball's on the 20, 1st and 10, 5:14 to play. Right up the pipe. Paul Yatkowski, number 99, the stop.
Paul Yatkowski's right at home in this weather. He's from Winnipeg, Canada. So he's probably not even cold.
It's a spring day for him. And here's the look. Does Vanderbilt get movement? Not very much that time. The offensive line didn't win the battle. When Vanderbilt is successful is when the big guys across the front can move the hats back on the defense and let those backs find running lanes.
Time is ticking away. Second down and 8. You want to be careful. And Dees flip-flops close to the first down. He's short about 1.5 yards. That was an acrobatic move.
Big play time right here. This is it.
He's going to get a look to see what it feels like to go airborne against Tennessee. Out.
Nice gymnastic move. You know, since 1965, the Volunteers 25-1-1 in regular season finales.
Marcus needs to let the play clock run on down. Get it on down to 2 or 3 before you snap it. He's going to do just that.
He goes forward, held up,
it.
did not get it.
They're going to have to punt it back.
Bonham was in there. Along with Willie Richards, we've called his name several times today.
This is just, you see too many white helmets sticking through there when the surge needs to be on, and that's, I like to dwell on the positive. You'd have to say it's a good play by Tennessee
Sure
defense.
it is. Sure it is.
3:18 on the clock, and again, David Lawrence, the punter for Vandy, is having the game of his life.
I don't want to jinx him, but boy, now it sure be a good time to nail another one.
See the numbers.
That's a pretty good day.
He's trying to get limber. Vandy let the clock tick away, so they'll go 5 back.
You got a lot of confidence in your kicker. If you'll take a 5-yard penalty this far back on your own, you know.
That's right. I mean,
that's a lot of confidence right there.
.255 on the clock. David Lawrence puts it away. This one's shorter than some. Tennessee will have the ball on the 41-yard line.
We didn't get all of that one,
no.
But it was a good punt nevertheless.
Now it gets interesting.
It's interesting now. Tennessee has got to, they don't have time to do a lot of things with the running game anymore. They've got to throw the ball, and if they run it, they've got to do draws and little plays like that to make big plays on it. This is not a situation where you want 3 or 4 yards with your running game.
And if you're Vanderbilt, I don't think you can sit back in the prevent that
I don't think they
we
can.
both despise.
I don't like it, and I don't think they can, but there is no need to panic because there's a lot of time, 2:43, and you've got 2 timeouts. That's a long time.
Bueller. Oh, there he is. That's Faulkner.
That's the same play that hit the touchdown pass
Sure
to the other side.
And I think they've seen that, and they just, that was good execution. That was good execution. Drop back, and even though he's getting hit, he throws this ball right in the middle of the teeth of that zone. Cover 2 is vulnerable down the middle of the field because they've got 2 people on top, and your object is to get 3 up the top. So you get 2 outside and 1 down the middle, and you can break that defense.
5 catches for 128 yards for Faulkner. Civilian and Faulkner have had just unbelievable games.
They got a checkoff coming here.
From the 28. Yeah. Man wide open. That's Garner back in the game. And he's going to fight his way for a touchdown. No, it's on the 1-yard line. It looked like he went in, but he comes down at the 1.
Wow. That's a great checkoff by Heath Schuler. He checked that play off right at the line of scrimmage, and he did it because of alignment. Vanderbilt took 2 men out of the box and gave the running lane to the Tennessee offense. Heath Schuler made the correct check, and the rest was Mr. Garner just making a superb effort.
Well, I tell you, that's down the field quick in 2 plays.
That's pretty good. Pretty good execution.
96
now
yards.
You can look for little man Stewart to go up and over.
There he goes.
He does it. He's one of the best.
Called it.
He's one of the best I've ever seen doing that. He's so technique conscious. He gets up, he gets turned, he keeps the ball outside where the defense doesn't have a chance to poke it out. you'll take a look at it right here, when he gets the ball deep, he tucks it away, he goes up and over. This is Charlie Garner. This is a run before on the checkoff. He makes a great little move, individual effort. They're trying to rip it out. He holds on, gets down to the 1. And the rest is little man Stewart. He is the best I've seen at the leap. He's just technique perfect.
And one of the keys that people talk about is not how high you can jump or anything like that. It's getting the body turned where they don't get a good shot at you at linebacker.
As the old coaches say, project yourself like a missile.
Yeah.
Coach,
I always had that. I could never get the missile part done.
Yeah, that's right.
Volunteers score in less than a minute, which leaves Vanderbilt some time, 1:49 to come back. The Commodores will go for 2. 2-point conversion would set them up where a field goal would tie it. They miss. Vanderbilt could win with a field goal if they get in position.
They go for 2 because they'd win with a field goal with 1 anyway. So that's their basic thinking.
Right.
Want to give them 21, and this is I'm sure it's something that they've worked on a lot since the South Carolina game, because they had an opportunity to win a football game there and had a 2-point conversion play that just got disrupted from the snap. It just didn't work, and I'm sure they prepared themselves for this since that time.
I don't count but 10 in there for Vanderbilt.
Here we go. From the 3.
That's all they got.
Volunteers going for 2. They get it. Faulkner had a terrific football game. It would figure he would be the man, and so Tennessee on top by 3, 22-19, 1:49 to play.
This is just a little flood action play. It's the same play that we were trying to run against South Carolina, except there was 3 people in the pattern this time instead of 2. And when you get 3 people into a pattern, you can get away with a legal pick.
Right.
Okay.
A legal pick.
A legal pick, which means they don't call it, because all picks are illegal. But that was a good play, and Faulkner makes the catch. Who else to make the catch? He's been making catches all day.
Well, I guess that's one positive for Vanderbilt, is that it only took 54 seconds. They went 59 yards in 54 seconds.
I didn't think it took that long.
I tell you what, though, folks, this is a big play because, like I've said before, Tennessee's coverage on kicks has been very suspect. And in the second half of this game, every kickoff and punt return has been either fair caught on the punt or run back for positive yardage, and Vanderbilt's had good field position.
18 seniors on the Tennessee ball club, 10 on Vanderbilt. The last regular season game for all the seniors, the last regular season game for Johnny Majors, who's 14-1 against Vandy coming in.
Not this time. There's a guy that's been doing it all year, and I don't know why they took him off of the special teams, but I'm going to tell you, he has been doing this from day one, and a guy named Jack Jacobic, too.
Victor Brown.
Victor Brown, number 16, and they've moved him to linebacker a little bit, but he's a free safety headhunter. A strong safety will probably be at the next level if he gets there. But he is a wild man on the special teams. That's reckless abandon there, folks.
You gotta have a little of that in you when we go down to cover kick.
That's right.
Mr. Civilian is wide left.
Oh.
The 18, a muffed snap.
Oh, I think
Tennessee gets it. It's a fumble. Volunteers
Tennessee's
football.
got it. Fumble. Tennessee's got it. I can't believe that. What a break.
Marcus did the wrong thing. Marcus tried to
cover it.
He tried to pick it up and make something happen rather than say, all right, this one's a bad play. Let me get on it, cover it, and go on to the next one.
Well.
Take a look right here. It's from the snap. Now, instead of just falling on the ball, he'll try to pick it up. He's going to try to pick it up. Well, he didn't even get it.
It got kicked by one of his linemen, and by the time he went back to get it, tried to pull it in. You're right. James Wilson. James Wilson recovers the fumble, and wow.
Big turnaround. Keith Schuler. Now we'll run the football. Charlie Garner. Should be over 100 yards with that carry. He had 96 after his run down to the 1-yard line. They give him 4, so he has 100 for the day.
Well, I tell you what, this game's not over, but I'd like to take this opportunity to say that I've enjoyed watching Vanderbilt offense and defense play, and the Tennessee offense and defense. They've given us a great game, and I think both teams and coaches should be commended for that.
I do too. You can look in the picture right there and you see, you know, a minute and 30 seconds and Coach DiNardo doesn't think it's over. And I think that's the way he approaches the game, and that's the way he wants the Vanderbilt program to get to that level. And I commend them on a great game. They, you know, they had a game plan. They took some chances. They paid off. And then, you know, when you go back, it's been a great game.
It really has. I tell you, it started off a good week for me, having the good old Thanksgiving dinner down in Chattanooga with the Harrelson family and the Ralston family. And, boy, I tell you, I'm still suffering from that. But to come here and see a great football game like this, it just doesn't get a whole lot better. But I'm not by any means saying this game is over, because there is a minute 30, and I've seen strange things happen. You know, one guy doesn't hold on to the football, and all of a sudden it goes the other way. This game could be something else, but it's been a good one.
2nd down and 6 from the 8. 1:30 on the clock. And getting close to a score.
Might do it.
They gave him 6 that time.
That's a great effort right there. The little extension at the end.
Charlie Garner. Big game for him, and Faulkner and Schuler. They've been the 3 catalysts on offense. 28-19.
That's just a straight handoff. Good surge blocking. You see Lyman up front. Now this is great effort right here. He just reaches out, puts the ball on the ground. The ground can't cause a fumble. And he has a great opportunity. He makes the play. It's a touchdown, and it's a great cap to the season for Tennessee. And Vanderbilt doesn't have anything to be ashamed of either. They played well today.
29-19 the score now, and for those who care about it, the Volunteers have now covered the point spread. I think it was 9 points.
Wow.
Just thought I'd throw that in. Not that I...
But if you look at the defensive stats, especially for Vanderbilt, I mean, they have really played well. I mean, it's their prowess has been the eye bone, keeps the ball, cuts the game in half, and our defense can do it. But the defense has been called to the forefront today, and they've come through like a charm.
And I tell you, you know, the folks that are going to see this score, 29-19, that 10 points is not near as close as this ball game was.
I think it's a minute 15 with those 10 points.
Yeah.
So it's not indicative of the game that was played here today, folks.
Well, there's still time. Commodores may come down and score.
You never count them out. You know, they've done a good job returning kicks all year.
Let's watch Victor Brown and see how wild he is on this kickoff coverage.
There he is, number 16.
3rd man in. He's been a wild man all year.
3rd man in from the Tennessee sideline.
Offsides.
There's the pooch kick. And the Commodores bring it out to about the 31. I think the ground caused that fumble. Yes, it did.
Snap from, well, Schuler gets deep in the backfield, which is what Charlie Garner does best. When he gets the ball deep, he can pick and choose his holes, and he's got that good lateral movement, good peripheral vision, and I mean, he
did a great job of making the first guy miss. He does a very good job.
You're right. Make the first guy miss and end up on a positive note, which is forward and positive yards.
Marcus Wilson going to Civilian, who is open, wide open. And Civilian tried to get out of bounds, but he was wrapped up pretty good.
How can he get behind him, Conridge? I don't understand that. I don't understand how he can get behind him time and again.
That was Deron Jenkins again.
Yeah, the same guy. Well, he's going to be shell-shocked after today.
I think so. I mean,
he's already shell-shocked.
I mean, you know what they're going to do.
And it's not behind
it's the same route. Yeah.
And it's not like he just barely beat it. That ball's thrown out there. That's a touchdown.
219 receiving yards for Clarence Civilian.
Didn't make the catch.
It bounced. Nope, they're counting it as a catch.
They
Yes.
called it a catch.
A reception for Derek Wilhelm.
That one's going to be interesting to look at right there. Let's see if we can see it right here. I know he was open. That's a trap. That's a trap.
Hey. It's not if they don't call it. It's kind of like that pick.
It's like the illegal pick. You're right.
Like I said, folks, an onside kick, and you never know what happens.
Into the end zone, Civilian.
Guess
Why not?
who?
Touchdown, Vanderbilt.
Guess who?
47 seconds left. They'll go for 2. Hey, onside kick. Who knows, right? 222 receiving yards for Civilian. That's a new Vanderbilt record.
Wow. Just a
Great play. This is just a fade route.
Fade route.
And if you've got a receiver that understands how to get his body in between the defender, it's an easy throw for the quarterback, and you just make the catch and do your victory dance, your touchdown walk. This will be an interesting play. This is a big key here.
Now, if you get the 2 here, and he's open. Oh my goodness.
Oh, he's open. He's open. Wow. I like to see him go down the line.
Going backwards.
He threw it going backwards. He wasn't set up.
Yeah.
But Vanderbilt scored in 3 plays. They get the onside kick. Anything's possible. You just never know.
You know, if you get the 2 points there, the field goal can win it for you. The onside and the field goal can win it. See, I mean, you gotta admire where he's going for the win.
Yeah.
You know, you don't play to tie, and I know, knowing Coach DiNardo's mentality, he wouldn't play this one to tie anyway.
Oh, I don't think either coach
No,
would.
I don't either.
Because I think over the years in recruiting wars, you take more flack for tying against each other.
Yeah.
I know, because we tied Vanderbilt 14-14, and I hear about it everywhere I go.
Well, 47 ticks to go, and Vandy fans may remember the name of Bob Goodridge, a receiver back in 1967 against Navy. Had 201 receiving yards, but his name will now be removed and replaced by Clarence Civilian. That was a quick drive. 37 seconds, they go 70 yards.
That's a little quicker than Tennessee's 54 seconds.
A lot quicker. We got an onside kick coming here for sure.
Marcus Wilson having a nice day, his best day passing of his career.
Boy, and you never know on these things either.
Especially with the artificial
some
turf.
Crazy bounces, and usually when you kick this thing, the 3rd hop is the one you want to go straight up. We'll see if it works like that. It hits 3 times, and the 3rd bounce goes straight up.
Here we go. Drum roll, please, and it goes right to
There's a
Aaron
one-hopper
Hayden.
to him. That should do it right there.
No, it's 23 off.
Let's don't get ugly
Don't
at the
get
end.
stupid. That's a young freshman doing more than he's expected to do. You just catch the punt and don't embarrass the university. Come on now. That's not right.
It's been a great game so far. I don't want to see it end up with anything ugly.
It's just been too good, well-played game. It has been. I mean, there's no need for any of that. The officials have to take control now, even if it means throwing a guy out of the game.
That's true.
You got to take control and not let this get out of hand, because they do have to exit at the same end.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me. And I know if Coach Majors is the kind of coach that I know he is on somebody's case right now, because you don't do that. He does not allow his teams to beat themselves and make mental errors, stupid penalties like that.
Yeah.
Well, there you saw the timeouts. 47 ticks to go before this one is history. Looking at Jerry DiNardo, hoping for a miracle, but all it's going to take is for Heath Schuler to kneel down a few times.
I know.
Johnny Majors will wind up 15-1 against the Commodores, barring a miracle of miracles.
And this, if the referee, we talked about it getting ugly. This is another place where if you're not careful, the referees can let it get out of control.
That's true.
Timeout Commodores. They have one left. 40 seconds to play. On a cold afternoon in Nashville. Coach Majors really told that story several times yesterday. He was excited about that in 1947 when he came here. His father, Shirley Majors, took him to a game as Vandy beat Ole Miss.
I just saw Coach DiNardo tell one of his linebackers as he went back out, he told him to be smart. And I think that's a pretty classy move, you know. It
really is. There's David Keith and Coach Majors. Roger Frazier and Max Parrott. Those are long time. There's a lot of people going to be sad to see Coach Majors go. And, you know, hiring and firing is part of being a football coach, but wow.
It was an exciting fourth quarter, no doubt about it.
Saving the best for last.
It's like two different games.
Sure
there was 3 quarters and then a fourth quarter.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Schuler waits, and goes down. Referees jump in quickly. Vanderbilt calls timeout, and that gives us time to go down to Bill King. Bill?
Guys, a couple of notes. If you'll recall at halftime, I told you I guaranteed it would be a high-scoring game. They just hadn't gotten the offenses in order, but I'm really shocked. I'm just kidding, but really shocked. I thought it would be a defensive struggle. Again, Heath Schuler proves that when the chips are down, he can get it in the end zone. Back up to the booth.
Bill, thank you. And in 33 seconds, Bill will get in where it's warm. Good look at Johnny Majors.
Can you imagine the thoughts that are going through that man's head right now? I mean, he's had an illustrious career at Tennessee. He's come up through the system. He's come in second in the Heisman Trophy, gone away from Tennessee, won a national championship, came back home when the chance for Johnny come home, and been there 16 years and 3 SEC championships. And there's probably some thoughts there. He's probably reminiscing about quite a few things right now.
He was talking to Philip Fulmer, who is expected to be named the new head coach at Tennessee. The Schuler waits and goes down, and that should be the final snap of the football game.
That one will do it. They don't have to call another one.
And we should say the University of Tennessee Sports Information Department has released this statement. UT Athletic Director Doug Dickey announced Saturday afternoon that a news conference will be held at 7 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday to name a new head football coach for the Volunteers. The news conference will be held in the Ray Mears Room of the Thompson Bowling Arena. The Johnny Majors era is over. A new coach will be named tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and Philip Fulmer is expected to take over the role. Johnny Majors running off the field, victorious, 15-1.
Well, folks, I think you're going to see that man coaching somewhere soon.
I don't think there's any doubt about it.
I think you will.
Pittsburgh job is open.
That's not something that just leaves, you know.
No.
When you get into coaching, you do it because you love it. And when you get out of it, it's because that desire is over.
That's right.
And I don't think that desire is over with him right now.
See, coaching is a little different than playing. You get out when you can't run it anymore.
Yeah. Somebody usually tells you, you know.
That's right.
Gives you a good push.
Tennessee wins 29-25. It was an exciting fourth quarter, guys. No doubt about it. That was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
It was excellent. I tell you,
it really was.
The fourth quarter was what a lot of people expected in the first quarter, but I still, my hat's off to both defenses. The Tennessee defense, the eye bone, and the Vanderbilt defense, for the most part, until the fourth quarter, really contained their running game to a point that made Heath Schuler pass the ball more than I think they anticipated.
And Schuler showed off a heck of a throwing arm. I think we'll give Condridge a little credit there. You've been working with him. Why not, huh?
No. No, he's, I just had the pleasure of going out and trying to assist him in a few things, but all that natural ability, that's him. And he's going to work. He's a hard worker. He's got one of these linebacker mentalities, and he's playing quarterback, and that reminds me of a guy named Jim Kelly. Same type of form, same strength, and a big kid is not afraid to stand in there and take a shot when he has to.
And Craig Faulkner took a shot and wound up being the star receiver as he caught many of Heath Schuler's passes, the big touchdown pass, the big pass at the end of the game. Charles Garner was tough in the backfield, and of course, what can you say? Marcus Wilson, Clarence Civilian go out with great games as we go down to Bill King. Bill?
Okay, gentlemen, a couple of final thoughts. Again, a traditional rivalry. It's always nasty. many of the last several years when Tennessee and Vanderbilt play, with the exception of last year. Of course, Vanderbilt has led at halftime. This year, no exception. The team's fairly evenly matched. Again, I don't want to sound redundant, but Heath Schuler always makes a difference. The speed and quickness of Charlie Garner. And I think we saw late in the game, gentlemen, and Conrad Holloway and I talked about this before the ball game, maybe the size of that offensive line, the physicality of the offensive line as opposed to Vanderbilt's defensive line, probably was the telling tale right there at the end of the game, the big runs up the middle. I think that had a lot to do at the end of the ball game.
All right, Bill, well said. Whit Taylor, Jared DiNardo is now 0-3 against Tennessee, but he's getting close, and I think he's getting close to turning that corner.
Yeah, you know, you hate to say moral victory because, you know, nobody believes in him, and I know Coach DiNardo doesn't believe in him. I don't believe in him. But what you do is you see progress, and I think that's what he is. He's gonna, you know, he's gonna be upset with this, and because it is an emotional game, the interstate, you know, the rivalry. But I think when he sits down at the end of this year, he's gonna sit down, he's gonna assess what he's done, and I think he's gonna see that they're headed in the right direction, that they are improving, and that they are competing. Their big chore now is to get out and recruit, you know, and they did a good job last year of recruiting top quality players that other schools that you play against want. And that was one thing that hadn't been done here in the past, and they did a great job of recruiting. Now they've got to follow that up with another year to get good quality players in here.
And believe it or not only Vanderbilt, but every other team in the SEC has got to recruit differently and better than they did before, because with the split up of the conferences now, East and the West, you got to play that extra SEC game. Plus, to win it all, you got to play in a championship game. And nobody can tell you right now that they want to play 7 SEC games, because that's just too tough. Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, all of those programs are going to get right up there with the Floridas, the Tennessee, the Alabamas, and the Georgias. And all of a sudden, if there is a national championship team, it'll come out of the SEC, but that's only if they don't get beat in their own conference.
Well, Marcus Wilson, a senior for Vanderbilt, ends his career 10 out of 14, 248 yards passing. A terrific way to end, and of course, Clarence Civilian, what can you say? What a way to go out. 6 catches, 222 yards,
wow,
and 3 touchdowns, and that was tremendous. Condridge, Holloway, Whit Taylor, what a pleasure to work with you two guys. I've admired you through your careers and now get to meet you in person, and you're 2 class guys. Thank you very much for making my job easy. Bill King, terrific job on the sideline. I'm glad you were there and I was up here in the warmth, though. No kidding, Bill. The final score again, 29-25. Thank the crew, professional as always. We'll see you soon. Tennessee victorious.